Hey, a quality night's sleep helps you prevent burnout, make better decisions, and improve your memory. To design a better mattress, Lisa leveraged 30 plus years of experience and hundreds of hours of testing to develop the perfect mattress for all body shapes and sleeping styles. And you know what? Through their 110 program, they donate one mattress for every 10 they sell, and together with the Arbor Day Foundation, Lisa plants one tree for every mattress sold. Don't miss these summer savings on these mattresses. Get $160 off a Lisa mattress at lisa.com/bombcast. That's LEESA.com/bombcast.
It says here that Isla Fisher was born in Oman.
Who are you stalking over there?
Oh, man.
Yeah. Her parents.
So you're saying Isla? It's Isla?
That's what Wikipedia says.
Okay. Did you say Wikipedia?
Wiki.
That's also what Wikipedia says.
Wiki.
So you can't trust them on anything, is what you're telling me.
No, absolutely not. Anyone can edit that thing.
Also, she's been nominated for 2 Logie Awards.
What is a Logie Award?
Like
Or
if
is it
you're
Logie?
kind of tired or a little
Australian television.
Hakalugi.
Yes.
eat too much and then
No,
you're like,
the Logie Award is a very different thing. You don't want
What about the Hoagie Awards?
Ooh.
I want to get nominated for a Hoagie Award.
I would want to win a Hoagie Award.
I mean, it's an honor just to be nominated. That's what you got to tell yourself for the first time you get nominated. And then once you get nominated a few times, you get your dues.
Look, if I show up to the Hoagie Awards and don't get a hoagie,
they just hand them out at the door.
yeah, if I here you go, watch a bunch of people eat sandwiches.
Hmm?
No,
Is a hoagie a cheesesteak or is a hoagie a
Hoagie's just a
different
generic.
sandwich?
it's like a grinder.
It's like a foot long.
It's like a
This is a hero.
It's a sub. It's a hero.
It's a submarine.
Submarine.
Okay.
They're heavier. It's you always pick one up. It's heavier than it looks on TV.
That's where the name comes from. It's Hoagie.
Yeah. This whole thing.
Subway has kind of destroyed the original meaning of the sub sandwich, which is that it is actually a submarine.
Well, I mean, but what is it-
Nobody says submarine way.
no one does.
That's
say,
what I- that's what I'm-
submarine way.
That's what I'm getting at.
There was a shitty. Well, maybe it wasn't shitty. I don't know. There was a sub shop in like the Roner Park area, Katati area.
Port of Subs.
Port of Subs.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good. Was it nautical themed?
Yeah. They had a submarine
Okay.
mascot, and I had a
Did the-
roommate.
Did the mascot wear an ascot?
It was a submarine
Okay.
with a face.
Oh.
I think is what.
Okay.
They said the
Oh,
submarine
good.
should have a face, and
Yeah,
they
of
put it on
course.
there.
All mascots.
Kids love
should.
that. Kids love when you
Kids-
put a face on some
Totally.
inanimate object.
Exactly. They eat it up. They buy that shirt. And anyway, I had a roommate who had worked at the Port of Sub, and
Free
she
subs.
had a refrigerator mascot, or a refrigerator magnet. Well, the mascot, upon which she had written "Subby screws ya," and she did not have nice things to say about her time there.
Is that the name of the mascot? Subby?
Subby.
I assume so. I don't know. I think I went in there once, and I remember the sandwich being average at best.
That's
Yeah.
just,
And it's gone now.
that's
so
not very creative.
well,
I hate to
you know,
say.
that's
The go-to drug dealer of my high school worked at the Port of Subs and also had equally unkind things to say about the establishment.
yeah. That sounds. Or maybe we're talking about the same person.
I've never met a drug dealer that had nice things to say about their.
About the
Retail
establishment.
job.
They're like their
Yeah.
cover job.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, no, I work here because they let
I
me get
love
away
the
with
door-
this shit. But
Having a great time at this Spencer's Gifts.
it'd be too obvious. You can't sling dope out of the Spencer's gifts. They expect it.
That's
It's not like, oh yeah, we got all these fake
Yeah, but
dicks
no
and blacklight
cops-
posters.
No cops are going to go to the
That's
Spencer's
in-
Gifts.
that's in the job description
I guess so.
officially.
Now the Spencer's
have
gift
to fail a drug
specializes.
test.
I think they still carry a Lil John's energy drink there.
Oh,
What?
Crunk
juice.
juice. Yeah,
It's so good.
crunk juice.
What? Is it?
It is. Yeah, it's delicious.
Oh.
Pomegranate flavored?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Was that one ever
Oh.
alcohol-lated?
No.
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 Are you saying we got to go make a Spencer's Gifts run?
Seriously, if you, send me some crunk juice.
I would imagine some like novelty pills that say like too old for this shit or what whatever. Yeah.
Does it still exist?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean,
Spencer's,
who's going to cater to the
Usually
Spencer's
right by the Hot
Gifts
Topic.
patrons
Backpacks are always on sale.
of 20 years ago? You know, the Spencer's Gift that, like, you know, because you imagine 20 years ago people were going to Spencer's Gifts.
Yeah.
What are these people doing now? They also need, you know,
Shitty
wall scrolls with bongs on them.
Yeah.
Beer pong setups and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah. You can
Last
buy
time
those
I
at,
was
like,
in
grocery
there,
stores.
Black lights.
they had gotten way into
Pops.
Oh, you know
sure.
what? I'm sure that they are totally
Oh,
like
probably.
they are Funko laden in there. I mean, to stay relevant or
It's how
something.
they keep the
Fortnite.
rent going.
But they all have the
How
next
did-
best thing, and that's like dildos and vibrators.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. One of the same, really.
Yeah.
Probably made out of the same
Basically.
material.
Yeah,
actually.
totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at their website right now. The categories of products on offer include shot glasses with phrases like "FOMO like a mofo," or
fuck, man.
"Get me an Uber."
What the fuck does that even?
The airtight glass jars with weed logos right on them
Sure.
are buy one get one 50% off.
Nice.
If
the
you're
moment?
taking shots with your friends, why would you have FOMO like a mofo?
Well, that's they're
You're not
they-
missing out.
They're
Yeah.
like they have the fear of missing out, but they're not missing out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Or they're drinking alone
Yeah.
to
Oh,
eliminate the
God.
feeling.
It comes one shot glass.
Yeah, I just need to deaden this.
Here's let's see, 50% off T-shirts with names on them such as Nirvana and Wu-Tang.
Yeah, they still got that stuff.
Okay,
sure.
Yeah, good.
And the last category on this webpage is Overwatch.
Oh,
That's like I said, dildos and vibrators.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
I'm in.
$69.99 for adult Reaper costume.
Nice.
Adult Reaper.
Adult.
It's just
don't-
Reaper with his.
Don't ask.
Yeah.
Here's a Let's Drop the Beat Lucio baby bodysuit onesie.
Do they have any good crossover Overwatch Insane Clown Posse gear? Is that something? Because I feel like they would have both of those things,
What
but
is,
I don't know.
what
if
is
there's-
common ICP merch? Here is a wallet with a chain on it
Yeah.
with
Okay,
the,
yeah,
over,
there
with
you go.
the
You found
Overwatch
it.
logo.
Yeah, that is. That's your
That's your
crossover.
crossover.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of which Overwatch character was most likely to be a Juggalo.
I was gonna
Roadhog.
Roadhog.
Ro-
Yeah.
Roadhog. Here he has the paint.
And Junkrat. They'd both
Yeah.
just go together. Yeah.
I was going to say Reaper again, but I guess
Mm.
not necessarily.
No.
He's more into like.
KMFDM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Soldier 76 was a juggalo, grew out of it because
Yeah.
he was a father.
Yeah, that's right.
There are plenty of fathers that are down with the clown, I'm sure. Running with the hatchet, if you will.
I'm sure they've reproduced at some point. Yeah.
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 Hello, it's the Giant Bombcast.
Oh, hey, hi.
I guess we still have to say that.
There's still,
hi.
I feel like as long as there are malls, there will be a place for Spencer's Gifts. And
I guess-
I don't know when all the malls go away.
Yeah, I figured that Sharper Image and Hot Topic had sort of driven them out of business.
Well, Sharper Image went out of business.
Oh, that's right.
Because of like the scandal of their air cleaner thing.
What was that?
That ionic breeze stuff that
Yeah.
emits ozone.
Yeah.
Apparently, ozone not a good thing for people to breathe.
Gross.
And they didn't necessarily label the products appropriately
Wow.
or whatever. And it was like, if you have asthma, it's double bad. And I'm like, great, I've been running this thing in my room for years and years, but hey, I don't know if it was necessarily like a long-term problem. It was more like, hey, just don't breathe ozone, which is bad because I think ozone smells great.
What's it smell like?
Bummer.
It's like a hot tub that emits ozone.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's kind of.
take a bath in liquid ozone.
I mean, not knowing what I know now, no, I guess not. But anyway, I guess that devastated the Sharper Image business, and the brand still exists in some form. But
They still have like the magazines, and you can
On the
order
airplanes?
them, but there's no more brick and mortar stores.
I think that's
Really?
what happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you got to go to Brookstone if you want garbage, like a cushion you put on a seat that vibrates, or
Some cat headphones.
some kind of cat headphones. Oh, cat headphones are everywhere. So
a
if you
sous
want-
vide machine
a
that
sous-
also is like a USB charging station.
Yeah, I was gonna say some kind of suck ass boom box that has Bluetooth support.
Yeah.
Yep.
Would be the sort of thing you would find there.
Guys got any suck ass boom boxes?
Shit, man.
I was
Covered
on
in
BART
them.
this morning with some dude who had a suck ass boom box.
Really?
Yeah.
Was he playing any bangers though?
He was playing bangers the entire way, and then as we were getting off, it went straight to it was just like songs I didn't recognize, but with like heavy bass and just thumping beats. And then the last song he played as I was getting off was Simon and Garfunkel. Just went straight there.
Yep.
And he started laughing really loud when it happened, but he didn't change it.
Good. Good.
Yeah, all right.
Sometimes you need a little.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta roll with Simon
Change
and
pace.
the Garfunk.
That's right.
Someday the malls will be gone, and where will we go for?
They keep saying that, but
like
they're still here.
a Jimi Hendrix blacklight poster, as if
know.
that's a thing that people want. or need.
Amazon.com.
Yeah, but like
I know,
that's not
but
something
no,
you
I wanna-
search and find. That's
Exactly.
like I'm here. Oh, I could use it's a coffee mug, ceramic thing
Ah,
that's
shit.
shaped like a boob.
Kevin's birthday is coming up.
Yeah,
we gotta,
exactly.
We got to get him a chain wallet.
He's an old fart. We need a old fart spray. It's looks like it's got cobwebs on it.
This postcard that said, "I'd rather be her.
Yeah.
Let's get him this
Wish you were her."
can of popcorn, but then when he opens it, a bunch of snakes pop out.
We got this birthday card for you. Everyone at the office chipped in. It says 1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila floor.
Welcome back from rehab.
Yeah. Where are you going to go for that sort of stuff?
Yeah.
Fake candy pills that say memory pills for old fuckers.
So you're saying we should start a website called Bad Amazon, and it's just like you get redirected
it's the
there
best things
as you're
of Bad
checking
Dragon
out.
and the best things of Good Amazon finally together in one thing.
What is the best thing from Bad Dragon?
It's like an ass that's shaped like a chimera. I don't know. What the fuck do they even sell?
I'm trying to logistically think about what an ass shaped like a chimera is. Is there three holes?
Where do the heads come out?
It's like
Wherever
two
you need them.
durians
Yeah.
put together.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm down, I guess.
It's a chimera for any occasion.
Yeah.
Chimera
Yes.
for all seasons.
Anyway.
Yeah. Hello.
Hi.
Video game.
I guess. Yeah, sure.
What you
Think-
got?
What?
Anybody?
Oh, what? I don't know.
Not much coming out at the moment,
I've
so we're
been-
probably sort of just
Well,
all over.
I've been specifically playing stuff that we can't talk about yet.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm like racking my brain here, going, no, can't talk about that. Can't talk about that. I've been playing. How about that? I've been playing the early access PC version of Dead Cells. Some.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Getting back into Dead Cells.
Technically, you can talk about that.
Oh yeah, I can talk about that all I want.
I suppose I can't talk about the PS4 version.
I mean, neither can I.
Okay.
But anyway, but I actually have been playing it on PC a lot.
Which is still in some kind of early access.
Yeah, it's out the 7th.
Okay.
So it's coming out pretty quick here. Dead Cells still fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
I am super excited to play that game, and I've been holding off just so I don't burn out on an
Yeah,
unfinished version.
It's real
What is? Give me the 30-second. What's so great about it?
It's got really fluid animation. I think the look of it is really fantastic. I think the combat is, you look at it and you're gonna think it's like, oh, they're trying to do that kind of Metroidvania Symphony of the Night type shit, but it's not really that. It's the combat has a deliberate feel to it, but it has a lot of weapon variety, and all the weapons feel pretty different. You've got like a laser whip kind of thing that you can use. My favorite combo right now is just like a basic medium to fast sword type attack, and then also you can equip 2 weapons basically, and then there's another one that basically gives you the Sub-Zero fucking ice blast.
Yes.
And so you freeze someone and then run up and fuck with them while they're frozen, and it's
later
fun.
on, you might get a weapon that does 175% additional damage
Right,
to
to
frozen
enemies,
target.
yeah, and
man.
so you end up
tear through stuff.
and because you start, it's a run-based game, so you're starting with this kind of random set of weapons, or you're starting with a basic set, and eventually you unlock the ability to maybe start with a random weapon.
It's a lot of variety.
Yeah. So there's a lot of builds, more or less, that you will kind of stumble into as you go through your run.
And
It's
it
like
encourages
100 different weapons to unlock.
Yeah, there's a lot.
It's cool
So-
because each of the weapons have different colors associated with them. There's like red, purple, green.
Yeah.
And so as you're playing and fighting, you're leveling up each color basically. And so you might go in with a weapon you're unfamiliar with, and it's of a certain color that matches up, let's say, with your shield or something. And so you're encouraged to be like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to power this thing up. And as you start to play with it more, you realize, oh, I actually do like this, because I go in and I like, with these platformer games, I like a nice, big, slow, heavy, deliberate thing that I can just, get really the timing down. But I'm finding
some
out
weapons for you.
Yeah.
actually.
totally. But then I'm also finding myself upgrade, like just by virtue of what I come across and what I'm, what is the most efficient upgrade I can take at any moment, using like the daggers or the quicker weapons that I'm not usually drawn to. But just because everything that, like you said, the animations and the just the actions of your attacks feel so.
Just feel right.
Yeah, it feels
right.
feels right.
And
Yeah,
the
between
shooting
like
is good.
ledge grabs and everything. But I love like in combat, like each weapon has like a string, like a 3-hit combo or something like that. So you can do 2 swipes, roll behind the dude, and then like hit him with the 3rd hit of the string. It's very freeform. It feels so good.
You can really get the timing down with it. By default, you'll start with just like a basic sword and shield, right? You can take a bow, I guess, instead of the shield if you want. But I always take the shield.
Feels good to parry.
Yeah, and it's got like really good timing based parry system. So you have like these zombie like dudes that will jump at you. It gives you a good exclamation point over there, which you can disable if you don't like it, but an exclamation point over their head to say this enemy's about to attack. And so you kind of have time to just like get that timing down at the beginning before you get overwhelmed by a lot of enemies to feel like, okay, now I can parry these arrows back at these guys and kind of become second nature. Between that and the roll, you have a lot of options to kind of deal with incoming attacks, to the point where eventually, like, okay, I'm going to trade out this shield for 2 weapons instead of a sword and shield, so I can really get into some heavier shit.
What are you working toward? Is it randomly generating levels?
Yeah,
Are you
it
beating
is.
bosses? Is it like a
You're beating
rogue legacy
bosses.
kind of thing?
Sort of, kind of, yeah.
And unlocking more stuff along the way.
Yeah,
the further that you progress, the more like options you have. Eventually, you'll get the ability to like reforge some of your weapons and get new stats on it. There's also modifiers that you can work towards as well. But eventually, there is a through line, right? So it's like this stage will lead to either this stage or that stage, and then it'll fork off to wherever. But it'll all lead to like one boss, and then it'll branch out again into like another boss. And I think they're up to 3 now. I think.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In early access, I think that's where they're at.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it's going to end up with that stuff. But yeah, you earn cells for killing enemies, and then between levels, you spend those cells on the more permanent unlocks.
Okay.
And that'll be stuff like, I want to use my health vial twice per level instead of once.
Or start with a random upgraded
Yeah,
weapon.
Yeah, I think last time I checked in on it, like they were still adding shopkeepers or some like places to put that currency in between runs. So when I saw that, I was like, this sounds awesome, but I might as well wait until it's all there.
I'm so worried that it's going to get lost in the fold between like Hollow Knight coming out. Death's Gambit is very similar. There's a game called Chasm that's
I want to play
coming
that
out
too.
as well.
Yeah.
And all of those are very similar.
I feel like
different aspects about them. But
sure. I feel like I see more hype around Dead. Well, Hollow Knight has been getting a lot of
Yeah.
word of mouth since it was on Switch, but I feel like
Yeah.
Dead Cells is getting discussed quite a bit from what I
Good.
see.
yeah, it should. It should.
It's-
It's a totally different experience
awesome.
than Hollow
Yeah.
Knight.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Cool.
Yeah, so I don't know. I've mostly been playing that, and then for whatever reason, I keep looking at Defiance 2050 because I keep.
Damn it, Jeff.
No, like I'm not even playing the game. I'm looking at their Twitter and I'm looking at the forums, and then I'm logging into the game to
To
see
what
if anything's
end?
changed. Because
Do you think they're gonna make it good?
No. Because they've spent a significant amount of time relaunching this game.
Yeah.
And we'll get into it in news because we're going to talk about culling too.
Yeah.
But Defiance 2050, not too far off in a sense of like, this doesn't seem to be pulling players in. Also, like it launched with significant issues that, like that game hasn't patched. Every time I load it, the game doesn't patch. They've taken the servers down to like issue, so maybe it's a server side fix for the freeze up problem.
Yeah, if you watched our quick look, it happened like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, the game will just seize up for multiple seconds at a time. Maybe that's something that they're fixing on the server end, and that's why the client hasn't patched. But I'm keep looking at it and going like, okay, what's next? You got the game out there. You have all this content from the other version of the game that you haven't brought over, and just like I'm just curious. Like they reissued this game in pretty much its same, it's the same game, just with, the different business around it and stuff. And I just want to see how people take to it. So I keep launching it and logging in and looking at it. And like world chat is just fucking dead. I still am in a really large clan. That clan chat is almost completely dead. Like it just, the player counts, looking at Steam charts and stuff like that, like, which isn't a full representation because Tryon runs its own launcher. But it just seems like not quite DOA, but you just look at it and go like, man, I bet a lot of people worked pretty hard to re-engineer this thing, and like to what end? Because last time I logged in, it was a handful of people going like, You'll see. All you new players will give up in a few months. There was a lot of people saying, I'm going back to the old Defiance. I'm like, all right,
that sounds like a small number of people that have been very grouchy for about 5 or 6 years.
Right, exactly. And then to have this be the thing at the end of the tunnel for them, like, hey, now why don't you start a new character? And they're like, I guess. It was just a bizarre thing. So I'm fascinated by that thing and what they're doing. So that's why I keep looking at that.
Sure.
That's more or less it. For stuff I can talk about, I guess.
Cool. Nobody's had a chance to play it yet, but that big No Man's Sky update came out today.
Yeah.
Anybody interested in that?
Yeah, totally.
I
feel like
I just bought it on PS4.
Nice. I feel like there's a ton of buzz around that thing.
Yeah.
Obviously they needed to do what they've done in the last 2 years as kind of a make good.
Yeah.
But I bet it pays off for them because I see people all over the place saying like, yeah, I'm going to pick it up now because it sounds like the game that I thought it was to begin with.
Yeah, maybe. And I feel like that this is the update that hits that tipping point for a lot of people where, I think everyone has been, like, every time there's a new update to No Man's Sky, I think out of just, like, whatever curiosity or genuine interest in the game, like, people are looking at it and going like, oh, what are those guys doing? What are they up to? And you look at it and go like, that sounds like a smart change. Not enough to pull me back into the game, but a smart change.
Each individual thing, like base building, that's cool. Like vehicles, cool. A new story quest, cool, but not any one thing that's like, all right, I'm going to put more time into this thing that kind of burned me.
And now okay, multiplayer, all this other stuff. Like, okay, this update seems like the tipping point to where like now I want to see all the stuff they've done over the last 2 years. So I patched it up on PS4 and launched it. And like my last save game was 2016 on that thing. So I haven't seen it really since shortly after launch.
That feels like a lifetime ago.
Yeah. I'm interested in going back in. I almost, and this is dumb, there was a minute there where I thought about pre-ordering the Xbox version because I liked the look of that silly Xbox helmet.
Sure.
And I was like, that thing looks real dumb.
I mean, it is
one of those.
If you haven't seen it, it is basically an Xbox logo in helmet form.
It is the big burning X, the original Xbox X, in a helmet
I feel
form.
like that's been done before. I think one of the Dead Space games had that thing. It's just ridiculous. But.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see the game as somebody who's never touched it. I never watched really much footage at the time. It's going to be interesting playing it and not knowing what's new, right? Not knowing exactly. Like I could go back and read patch notes and figure out what they've added and stuff, but kind of like playing final No Man's Sky for the first time is exciting.
Well, it seems like such a dramatic shift for them. They put out a letter from Sean Murray, kind of saying like, hey, we went silent for a good long time, and now this is kind of the changes we've made, and like this is the launch of weekly content updates for the game.
That's right.
Now.
Yeah, they're going to start doing like community quests and like weekly challenges.
That's really
stuff.
cool.
Which that just sounds like a dramatically different game than probably what they even thought it should be at launch. Like I think that's the weird thing is like if you think about the road this has taken and look at what it seems to be now, it almost doesn't line up with even the stuff that they were promising it would be eventually. Like this seems like a very different direction.
I think
I wonder if that will kind of push some people away that were maybe more purists in the
maybe. Well, there's still the survival mode. There's still the creative mode. Like if you want that just pure like zone out, fly around and find stuff experience,
I'm sure you can still do
there.
that. Yeah, it's not like they. Yeah,
and
until a squad of people rolls up on you and jacks all your stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to get jacked.
I wonder if you can opt out. I mean, you can,
I hope so.
If you're on a console,
I mean, I'm sure you can
get off the internet.
Yeah,
but
you probably do an offline mode of some
probably.
kind.
But I want to roll with my homies.
Yeah.
Just not get jacked by dudes.
Some I guess it must have been Xbox disc copies got out early because there were a bunch of videos on YouTube floating around of all the new stuff, and like the going to third person and adding this like huge character customization system seems like a whole new sort of avenue of progression.
Yeah, cool.
Which I think is what those weekly quests are going to feed into. I thought from what I read, it sounded like they implied the rewards for that would be like unique customization, because you can be like any race in the game now. Your character can be like, you can customize the armor in all kinds of different ways. You can be a robot, like the character in this leaked footage I saw had like basically like a lamp for a head. All right, like this glowing orb with like metal
Pixar guy
orbiting around it for a head. Like it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll see. I wonder what the I think there obviously there's some players that have just built up whatever grudge to in a way that can never that they will never let themselves go back on. And like,
Let it go, folks.
I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm interested to see what they've been working on.
Yeah, me too, for sure. And yeah, I think it's like pretty cheap on PS4 right now from what I saw. It's like
across
20,
the board,
$20.
it's about 30
Okay.
or less.
Yeah, that's not so bad.
With like a PS Plus, it was like 27 or something.
Cool. Hey Jan,
Hello.
what you been playing?
I've actually been playing a game that's also roughly from 2016. Pokemon Go, everybody.
Oh boy.
How's
that Squirtle looking cool?
He-
Got
well,
shades now.
Mine is also green and
Oh.
has sunglasses.
Dang.
Yeah.
How many
he's a shiny.
Zapdoses do you have?
I have 5 Zapdoses now.
Nice.
Damn.
So over the weekend they had a shiny Zapdos raid event that went for 3 hours.
What? Do you fight other people?
No. So you
okay.
Man, when I get in on a good shiny Zapdos raid, I'm lucky if I last 7 or 8 minutes.
it lasts about 3 hours. So
Damn.
plenty of time to recover.
One more hour and you'd have to talk to a doctor.
Exactly. So I don't exactly know when they added raids into the game. I think it may have been like earlier this year or late last year.
Is that like, do they hide a shiny Pokemon inside someone's house and you have to break in to get it, or what?
Parks, churches,
Okay.
schools, pretty
Just
much all
smash
that.
a bunch of windows up
You
and
have to work your
Hell
way
yeah.
up a flight of a building,
Okay.
one story at a time.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, my girlfriend and my barber have actually been rampantly playing Pokemon Go since the very beginning, and they finally convinced me to join in on a raid. So we went down to Foster City, where I thought it's just going to be a bunch of people just staring at their phones. But the Pokemon Go community in Foster City, let me tell you, cutthroat.
Are they?
wow.
Super. It was a bunch of people that you would expect to play Pokemon Go, but then there were families. And then right at 11, when the event was supposed to start, this older woman in like a fishing vest and like a bucket hat rolls up and starts telling everybody, all right, Team Valor over here by this tree, Team Mystic over there, Team Mystic there.
Are they LARPing?
And then she was just calling the shots, or saying like, all right, you can't join this raid unless you're in Team Valor because we increase our chances to get shinies today if we're in the same team.
What?
And it was insane. There were
Wow.
probably like 50 plus people in Foster City. I thought like not that many people were playing Pokemon Go anymore. But then people would be playing on multiple accounts. They'd have like 4 phones on them. This one dad was yelling at his kids like, get the iPad out, charge this.
Oh my god.
But it was a good time.
Yeah.
I didn't catch any shiny Zapdoses myself.
Aw.
My barber caught 4 because he's a jerk. But it was kind of insane seeing how involved people were in
totally.
Foster City because
Did anyone just while out and hit somebody in the face, just like get off
there,
the did tensions run high?
yes,
Okay.
definitely high. There was a mother and son that I was raiding with. The mother seemed to be maybe in her late 50s,
Okay.
yelling at her son who was in his late 20s. It seemed about that he wasn't playing with the right account to get her the shiny Zapdos.
God damn it, Brent. We
Um,
went over this.
But yeah, there were people that
I'm sorry, ma'am.
there was someone that came from all the way from Sacramento to Foster City. Someone that came from Sonol. Another person that came from Manteca, specifically to Foster City.
Anyone come from Kanto?
Kanto's in our hearts.
Okay.
Come on, Ben. But yeah,
Shiny Zapdos is serious.
very serious. And it was
Wow.
only for that day for 3 hours. And I think I've been bit by the Pokemon Go bug again. And
Is
they
that like a Caterpie?
it's a Wurmple,
Oh.
actually.
He's just making up names now, right?
Wurmple, yeah, Wurmple can't be a real Pokemon.
Yeah, just like Sudowoodo. That's not real. That's,
Wurmple sounds like something that
Pseudo.
E40 would call a friend of his.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking
Yeah.
it's like a Rick and Morty
This one
alien.
goes out to all my Wurmples.
Sudowoodo is probably a Rick and Morty thing, actually.
Sudowoodo, yeah.
Yeah. So that was my Pokemon Go raiding experience.
I still don't understand how you raid though.
It's like
This
a
is the-
instance at a gym, like
Okay.
against like a boss Pokemon.
Hmm.
And you go into like a party of 20 or less. But in this case, like half the group
Just
was made up by
Keep
one
throwing
person on their
Pokeballs
phones.
at the thing and
It has like a certain like amount of HP, and then you gotta like whittle it down,
Okay.
and then you get like a certain number of Pokeballs depending on how your team performs. You get bonuses. Also, they added friends, so if you're raiding with your friends, you do better.
okay.
Because at the end of the day, Pokemon is all about friends.
So did you have to friend up with everybody?
No, it was just me and my barber.
Oh, I would have figured everyone would be like, everyone, quick,
Pass your
exchange
phones
friend
around.
stuff. Pass your phones around. Let's friend up.
There were people that were part of the giant raid group, but were part of their own clique because you can have private raid groups. And they were whispering their little codes like, "No, it's Rattata, Pidgey, Squirtle. Don't tell anyone else. Don't tell anyone else."
Keeping all the spoils for themselves.
Yeah.
Is there anyone there like selling portable chargers and waters
Or
and
weed,
stuff like that?
like anything.
I had checked the Discord, and then there was someone offering. It's like, "Hey, does anyone want Gatorade? I'll bring some Gatorade to the raid." So a lot of nice folk on top of the kind of people taking it very seriously.
Community building.
Sounds like a lot of nice folk that you could take advantage of if you wanted to sell some portable chargers and water.
I got
like,
juice.
I got poke
Show up with a gas
snacks.
generator and just set it in the middle of the field and be like, let's go.
$1 a minute.
Yeah.
It's wild. Thanks for the field report.
Pokemon's crazy.
Sounds that way.
Yeah.
What y'all been up to? Got any more games?
Yeah, playing
on the
stuff
plate?
that I can't really talk about.
All right.
Onrush.
I was going to say, did
goddamn
you
platinum.
get to finish your Onrush thing?
No, I kept looking for Ben all weekend. I didn't see him
Just
online.
send me a text, dude.
I'll do that next time. I got to finish that. That studio,
Yeah.
massive layoffs.
Was it? Yeah. Was it that big? I saw they'd had some. I saw the director of the game.
Yeah, the
got
director
like,
got axed and
I don't know how big it was exactly, but that's not a great
no.
sign.
They said it wouldn't affect the
Any additional
content plans
rollouts?
for the game, which to me says that they didn't necessarily have a ton of content plans for the game.
What about the PC release? Did they say anything about that?
Still coming,
I don't know. Yeah.
as far as I know.
Bummer.
Yeah,
That's a shame.
yeah, that is a shame.
Somebody goes and tries to do something new
Seriously, yeah,
in a stale genre,
yeah, and they're
and they
citing
get punished for it.
They're citing that it just didn't sell enough,
Man.
essentially, which is
Yeah.
that's
I
sad.
It's a game.
see it.
It's a game that really needed word of mouth to survive, and they shipped it like right before E3.
Yeah, like the week
Yeah.
before. Or
I
something.
tried, man. I
like,
was banging that drum.
I feel like the people that
Oh,
would
yeah.
have been out there saying, "Hey, this is a really neat thing," were covering E3 instead.
Yeah.
It was also a little hard to push this with the $60 price
Yep.
tag for
Yeah,
really like
I'm
how
with you.
relatively
Without even having ranked.
little is
Yep.
in there.
I agree. It was kind of a hard sell.
Yeah, like
it
if
was
that
that much fun for me that I felt it was justified.
if they had just held it till like the week after E3,
that
Maybe.
would
because everybody's looking for something to play after E3.
right.
That would have
Yeah.
been the thing.
I played Onrush.
I don't know. I don't know if that would have
I
made.
mean,
a
it may not
dramatic
have- it may not
difference,
have,
but
like,
you know, they
saved it,
probably
but-
would have got a little bit more coverage of the game
Yeah.
if they had not shipped it right when they did. I think attached to the story, you know, one of the little factoids that everyone included was that like the retail copies didn't sell for shit. Like it didn't chart in the UK where that data is more available. Like it didn't chart at all.
Yikes.
And there was some talk that meant that it sold less than 1,000 copies physically out there around its launch window or whatever it was. Yeah, it's kind of a tough sell. Yeah, full price game, kind of multiplayer only. You look at it and go like, it's a driving. It's like a racing game. Like that game
I got a
chunk
shit
is a
ton
little
of
difficult.
single player enjoyment out of it.
Oh yeah, you can play it alone, but I mean, you're playing against bots at that point. It's still a multiplayer game at that point. You know, it's
but
still
there's
a team-based thing.
For me, there were enough challenges to keep me
Yeah.
interested in doing it. Just saying.
So I guess like I'm not surprised that it didn't necessarily burn up the charts or whatever,
Right.
but at the same time it sucks because it's a pretty good ass game.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Aside from that, I've been playing a little bit of Pool Panic.
Oh, yeah.
from
Yeah.
Adult Swim Games, which is it's got a very like Rick and Morty esque type of humor and visual appeal. So if you're into that, or if you're not, then staying away from it. But it's an interesting like take on pool, I guess.
We're talking like
Billiards.
taking a dip. Oh, that kind of cool. Okay.
Yeah, not taking dips. Yeah, we're taking shots with
Okay.
the cue ball. You
All right.
control the cue ball. You are the cue ball. You get to walk around the table as much as you want. Where it changes up is that you're playing in actual environments and you're playing against like other balls, and the goal is to shoot them in holes eventually. But like these balls will start moving. They've got a mind of their own and shit like that. So each stage is kind of I don't know.
It almost seems a little puzzle-like.
A little puzzle-like, yeah. Sometimes like there was this campground that I was playing at, and there are balls that are hidden inside of tents. So you go to like shoot the cue ball at the tent to pop
Okay.
them out. There's like squirrel balls that are up in trees. So if you like knock some hamburgers down on the ground, the squirrels will come down, and then you get a chance to knock them in.
This almost
holes.
sounds a little bit like pool mixed with mini golf.
A little bit, yeah. There's
Like weird novelty courses.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's fun. It's
So there's no cue. You're not like shooting.
You are.
You
You're
are.
totally.
You're walking around and then saying, "Okay, time for a shot," and then a big stick appears, right? Is
Yeah.
that-
Yeah, and then you get to like fine tune it afterwards.
Yeah.
So
And then they
Sounds
have
kinda neat.
challenges
Yeah.
built in there around like the fewest number of shots.
exactly,
Right?
yeah. Fewest number of shots, time, whether or not you scratched or not, hit all the balls in, like all the secret balls as well.
Yeah.
Secret balls.
It's got a really neat look to it.
Yeah, it does. I like it. It's fun, and and the stages are varied.
Yeah, there was one like I saw where there was all the balls were on motorcycles.
Yeah. It was like a
And-
side-scrolling stage.
Yeah.
I saw one where you're actually like skiing down a hill the entire time. It's nuts.
It reminded me a little bit of Cuphead, not necessarily in terms of the art style of Cuphead, but the cartoonish look,
Totally.
like how well it kind of nails this kind of cartoony vibe.
Yeah.
That overworld for sure. Yeah.
Oh, totally.
That's-
Yeah.
That's straight from it. But
It's a Adult Swim joint.
it
right?
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. They're still putting out some cool stuff.
Yeah. And I think they got Death's Gambit coming out next.
Oh, that's
in a couple
one of theirs.
weeks. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Ben, can you talk about Mega Man?
What?
That Mega Man thing you've been playing?
Oh, I don't know.
I think
it's today, but I don't know what time.
I'm pretty sure it's out, right?
While Brad looks that up,
Tell me about the Mega Man X games that you may have played.
X
back in
games?
the
Can I-
day.
can I-
Yes, tell me about the X games.
Can I get an embargo check?
y'all like
Do you have that?
Mega Man?
Yes.
I like Mega Man.
I think I put it in there.
Do you like Mega Man X?
No.
Okay. That's probably the end of the conversation then.
I heard
But-
that they changed the names in
Yeah.
that one
Hey,
game.
you can talk about those Mega Man games.
Okay, great. Yeah. So
Hey, do you like Mega Man?
yes.
Well, bad news. This isn't it.
Yeah.
This is Mega Man X Collection 1 and 2. It's two separate things on the Switch, but one on PS4.
Oh, I thought it was.
I don't know
two
about
games
that.
everywhere.
Okay.
I think it's two games everywhere.
So it's two games everywhere.
They
then.
might just be selling it as a bundle or something.
Yeah.
'cause I
Oh,
think
yeah.
The way they distribute
'Cause-
it.
Because
to
I thought
us,
wasn't
it
there
was-
wasn't there kind of a hubbub when they announced it that they were splitting it up?
Yeah, but they also did that with the normal Mega
Yeah.
Man
Yep.
games.
Yeah.
They did like
Yeah,
1
they just
through
didn't.
6
They
and
just
then
didn't
7
release
through
them
10.
both at the same time. I
Yeah.
think is the difference.
So which X's are included?
X through X6, I believe.
Okay.
The first one is X, X2, X3,
Double triple X.
and then X4, X5, X6. So basically, if you've seen the Mega Man collection, Mega Man Legacy Collection 1 and 2, which is they put out, I don't know, 2
Yeah. Well,
years ago ish.
Same kind of
yeah,
treatment?
Maybe not that one. Yeah, but yeah.
Similar treatment. So you've got the core games. Those play exactly like they do, or they did. The only changes, like you said, they got rid of all the Guns N' Roses
Yeah.
What?
boss
Names.
enemy names
What did
and
they
went back to their
change them
Japanese
Oh, okay.
names.
they hate fun.
why?
I feel like that should be a toggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably it's probably
There's no way it's a
maybe-
licensing thing. Like what?
maybe. I mean,
Well,
I don't
it was,
know.
it was
using
maybe a concern. That
Yeah, that,
Also,
like-
I'm sure that at some level, like, someone probably thought it was really hokey and not true to the original. So why not go back to?
It is hokey, and that's why it was fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn it.
That's where I'm at on it too. But
But what makes these unique
What do I
is there is a sort of challenge mode. Before in the normal Mega Man games, your kind of extra content were remixed levels or a boss rush or fight this mini boss without getting hit sort of stuff. This one has kind of a more fleshed out, realized mode where it'll give you two bosses. Let's say it's like the two ice bosses, and they're going to be both on screen at the same time.
Oh.
And you get a list of like 10 different weapons randomly. I don't know if it's randomly generated or if it's generated based on the bosses that you're fighting, but you pick like 3 of them and go into the fight with it. And then sometimes they're on the stage you would normally fight them on. Sometimes they're on different stages, and you kind of progress through this kind of ladder. And it's not always in a set order. So it's cool because normally, going into those boss rush things, you had every weapon, and it's just like, okay, I'm gonna pick, this weapon against this boss because I know it counters him. This one against this guy, but this one, there's no. You're not guaranteed the weapon that's going to inherently be good against these bosses, and B, you're going against 2 different kinds of bosses
At the same time, or
at the same time.
crazy?
So you it's not just like, oh, I've played these guys in the normal game, I guess I'm gonna play them again in this challenge, guys. This is actually somewhat new. You have to take a new approach to it. I appreciate it. It seems like they put more effort into these than they have. The downside is any X game after X2 kind of sucks.
Okay.
I'm seeing a lot more games on this list after 2,
Yeah.
such as 3,
Mm-hmm.
4,
3's okay.
5.
It's when they got to like PS2, which I think is 5 and 6, if I'm remembering
PS2.
correctly.
Were these all sprite based? I forget.
7.
7 is the
5
only...
and 5 and 6 were PS1.
Okay.
7 is the
Were
first
any of
PS2
these?
game.
Did they get the megas or the 3D treatment?
Yeah, they got that
did?
kind of weird. That's starting at 3, I think.
Oh, really? Okay.
They all kind of blend together is the thing.
I remember that being a pretty bad period for Mega Man.
Yeah.
Just like, working when those games were coming out and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they were coming in, you're just like, all right, another one of these. Like,
And they try and
just-
change it up by like, oh, you can play as Zero in this
Yeah,
one and,
yeah.
and a lot of that stuff. And they're okay, but I think I think the first one, I think X and X2 are tremendous games. I think they're 2 of the best Mega Man games, period.
You can Hadouken in those.
You just have to die like 7 times on that first level. But yeah, beyond that, I mean, if you have a fondness for those games, this is a great treatment of those games. I
These
just
are-
don't think that
These are just the Mega Man X games, none of the Zero.
no, yeah,
games? Okay.
no, those are coming probably to their own collection.
Did
And then
you
Mega
get-
Man 11's coming pretty soon, I think. right?
Yeah, like October, I think. A few more months.
That's really good.
This has gotten me excited for that.
You don't get any of these like the Mega Man Extreme 1 and 2 for Game Boy Color,
Oh no, I don't even know
or
what that is.
Mega Man X Command Mission.
That's that GameCube game, I think, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
with Axel.
Yeah.
He can shoot diagonally.
Mm.
What?
On
Yep.
Axis.
This changes everything.
So maybe just get the first one
Yeah.
and be done with it,
Yeah,
and skip the second one.
I've heard of worse ideas.
What are we talking for unlockables or like encyclopedia style stuff?
Yeah, because those I've only played the first regular Mega Man Legacy, but like all that concept art of like discarded boss ideas
That
is
stuff is cool.
gold.
I
It's so
haven't gotten
cool.
deep enough in to see a lot of that stuff
Okay.
yet.
And I usually don't care much for concept art at all, but like in that case,
There's something about Mega Man
Yeah,
specifically, like
yeah.
the nature of the bosses mattering as much as they do.
Yeah.
That I think
like
seeing those
just
concepts is
getting to
neat.
see this
Yeah.
sort of like what could have been
Yeah.
list of bosses is super neat. Yeah.
And then I just want to give a real quick shout out to Slap City.
Does it slap?
Or anyone in particular in
we
Slap
played.
City?
Oh well, everyone in Slap City. We played it on UPF a couple weeks ago. I streamed it last week. It is a platform fighter that the studio seemingly made as kind of a goof when they put a bunch of their characters in from It'll do.
Oh, it's that one.
Yes.
Okay.
It
Oh,
looks
you
like a
mean
goof.
Super Smash Brothers
Ultimate,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And it looks, it looks kind of like it looks very basic, very simple character models, kind of ugly. I'll say it. But I found myself just playing more and more of it as time's gone by because it just feels so fucking good. If you like yourself a platform fighter, check it out. It's $7 right now while it's in early access. It's got amazing music, pretty good netcode.
It's got business casual, man.
It's
Yep.
got business casual man who is a hot dog that wears overalls and says things like brand synergy and positive player experience while he
Oh.
taunts.
We determined that thing between his legs is a tie. It's a tie.
Yes.
I thought it was something else.
Yep.
Because he's a hot dog man.
It's extremely business casual.
That is very casual
Let it all hang out on
from,
Friday.
from the sound of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
Cool. Anybody got anything else?
Nah, man.
Yeah. Dog Days of Summer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Madden's just around the corner. He's ready. He's ready to let
Yep.
the games come.
That's right.
Yeah, wait.
The fucking Madden Cruiser is revving its engine. Turducken's in tow, ready to signal that games are back.
I didn't put it in news, but I just saw their like new head of production or whoever got let go very quickly after being hired
Of Madden.
of Madden.
Oh.
Yeah. Not quite sure what happened with
His
that.
first idea was to put the truck stick back in.
Yeah. And they're like, absolutely not. We've been down this road before.
Yeah.
They said, here's your first turducken, and he wouldn't eat it. And they're like, man,
He could only
this
eat
guy's
the
not gonna-
turkey
this guy's
and
not gonna
half of
work
the
out.
chicken.
This guy's not going to work out.
Not a good fit for
This
the
guy's
corporate.
not a good fit for
Not
the culture.
corporate
Yeah.
culture. Turducken-based culture.
Yeah.
All right, those are the games we've been playing. Let's take a quick break and come back with some news.
Today's show is brought to you in part by Starbucks Double Shot.
Whoa.
That's right.
More, not just one shot?
No.
2 shots?
That's right. The Double Shot starts with bold Starbucks coffee, and it's blended with milk for a smooth, creamy, delicious flavor.
That's like a latte, I think.
There's a handful.
Coffee with milk.
Yeah, there's like a handful of different flavors to choose from, and it's enhanced.
Whoa.
With ginseng, guarana, and B vitamins.
Oh, I thought you meant like it was a cyborg or something.
No, I don't think it is. I mean, it's in a can. It comes in a can
there's metal.
like a cyborg would.
Okay.
So there is that, and Double Shot is available in 6 delicious flavors. Here we go. You want to hear them?
Okay.
All right. Mocha.
Mm-hmm.
Vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
Hazelnut.
Ooh.
White chocolate.
Ooh.
Coffee.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And Mexican mocha.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Zing.
Little zip there for you. It's an energy coffee drink that not only tastes great, but gives you the energy to go from point A to point done.
Okay.
Wrap it up.
Skip B through whatever.
Yeah. Just get going. Because you're sharper when you got more energy. You get things done.
Yeah. You got that look in your eye.
That's right. You get that focus, that steely gaze that says, I'm not messing around anymore.
Stay out of my way.
That's right. Stay on my way. I'm here. Starbucks Double Shot. It's energy to do things you actually do.
Like, what do I actually do?
That's it's all kinds of stuff.
I never really stopped to think about it before.
If you break it down, you're out there making a lot of things happen.
That's right. Moving and shaking.
If you want to move and shake, Starbucks Double Shot. It's the energy to do the things you actually do.
Yeah.
You can find it in your local convenience store.
Ooh.
That's convenient.
That is convenient.
Yeah.
News. Everybody loves it.
Oh, yeah.
When it's good.
You like to know what's happening?
Oh, yeah. 24/7, 365. I want the news beamed into my eyeballs. That's why I hang out at the airport.
Stick a funnel in your ear and just pour it right in there.
Yep.
I like our lobby. I like our little cafe area out front because they got 3 newses going on at the same time. You can look at all 3 of them.
Yeah.
You want to see financial news? You want to see world affairs?
got it.
You
Got it.
See sports.
Got everything that you could be looking for.
They got 9 TVs there in the lobby, too, and sometimes we're on one of them.
Yeah. And then sometimes it's Jeff Bakalar.
Does that make us news?
Yeah.
It's Jeff Beckler.
No, we make the news.
It is. Jeff
Yeah.
Bakalar's on that screen a lot.
He totally is.
Fantastic.
Yeah, he finds his way there somehow.
He's paying somebody.
Yeah. Crowdsourcing a little bit of news this week, Ben.
Oh, we're starting out with it?
Yeah, you said you had something you wanted to bring.
Yeah, I got real important news, real exciting stuff from Bandai Namco.
Go on.
They have confirmed, after much speculation, that new coming to the game, Dragon Ball FighterZ, they're finally adding them. Goku and Vegeta are coming to Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Not here yet.
No.
Coming soon.
Coming soon.
The
Goku.
characters, Goku
Vegeta.
and Vegeta.
Brand new.
For DLC
Finally.
purposes, you can
Finally.
pay money.
Are they canon?
They are canon.
They are canon.
Those are the canon ones?
So
Cool.
yeah, they, in case you're unfamiliar, the game already has as base characters Super Saiyan Goku and Super Saiyan Vegeta. And now you can play as normal Goku and normal Vegeta.
Are these actually only the second versions?
No.
No.
That are in
'Cause
there?
They also have, it was like pre-order bonus,
Yes.
unlockable through the arcade mode.
Yeah, Super
Super
Saiyan
Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, Goku,
and
Vegeta.
And then there's Goku Black,
Which is not
technically not a
fully-
Goku, but he looks like a Goku and he talks like a
He's
Goku.
like a bootleg
Wait.
Goku.
Is Goku a group of people? Are there multiple Gokus? We're all
there's-
Goku.
No,
There's only one
Goku
Goku,
the
but
state
there's
of
a
mind?
lot. It's like
Dragon Ball unfurls over a long time frame.
Yeah.
Upon which Goku at the start of it is a kid.
Preach it, brother.
And then later on, he's not anymore. And then later on, as I understand it, after that, he is once again a kid. So it is not that there are multiple Gokus, it's that there are multiple periods of Goku, and they just represent them on the roster as individual characters.
It's like that Bob Dylan movie where all the actors played a different version of him throughout his life.
Yeah, it's like every other Dragon Ball game where like Ultimate Battle 22, that's a lot of characters. Oh wait, it's 9 Gokus or something, and
So it's a rich tapestry of.
it's a rich
Goku.
tapestry of Goku.
Okay.
There's also Vegito. There's also Fused Zaibatsu, which is technically part Goku. There's a lot of Gokus already in the game. They're adding another Goku, and they sincerely put out a video that says Goku joins the fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's his character trailer, and there's a splash screen where it says Goku joins the fight.
So on the select screen, is it just going to say Goku?
It might-
Probably,
might
because it says
just say
Super
Goku.
Saiyan Goku
Yeah.
for Super Saiyan Goku, so it might just say Goku for Goku.
Crazy.
You gotta pay to put
have they
Goku.
showed anything that makes it look like he'll be different?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's got like the Kaioken stuff. He's got a
Oh,
spirit,
yeah, the
bomb.
Spirit Bomb, right? Yeah.
His moves look like early Dragon Ball stuff before he got
Before
Super
he
Saiyan.
got Super Saiyan.
No,
I'm aware.
Is this the Goku everybody actually wants? Is that why they locked it up behind DLC?
Honestly, I've seen them. As far as Goku demand goes, I think the highest demand I've seen is Kid Goku from Dragon Ball when he's got the stick and the
sure.
cloud. And all
I've
that
really been
stuff.
keeping tabs on the Goku economy.
Yeah, the Goku discourse is rife with there's a lot of sides come. There's a lot of
I
complicated
feel like
politics.
Goku looks better with black hair, personally.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But also, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. So that's it. They're adding Goku and they're adding Vegeta. Vegeta's got his tail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
And the
then
big
I mean,
shoulder
at that point,
pads,
he'll
too.
probably turn into he'll probably have some kind of
Oh.
super where he
Becomes
turns
the
into
big monkey?
big old monkey.
Yeah, probably
right?
his level 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because why wouldn't you at that point?
I was really disappointed because when you were reading the announcement, I told you and Jeff, I really thought you had said based Goku and based Vegeta. Totally different thing, but would have been more excited.
Give him another year; they'll get
Okay.
there.
All
They'll
right.
put in based Goku.
Thank you, base Goku.
Yeah.
Goku coming
Yeah.
soon.
I guess so. Y'all excited about that Switch version? Wonder how that's going to run.
We'll see. There's an open beta coming up.
Yeah.
Pretty quick.
And also, yeah, I guess shout outs to Dragon Ball Fighters for having the most entrants at EVO this year,
Yeah, totally. Even though
surpassing
they're-
Street Fighter 5.
That means the most people signing up to
Yeah.
compete? Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's a big.
that-
it's-
Put that game on
it's the- I
ESPN.
think
Put
it's the
that game on ESPN.
Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the first time I can remember the not headlining game having the most contestants.
You might be right there.
Does that say-
but it's still not the final game.
Yeah,
Make it
is
the
on
final game.
It is second to last.
Yep.
They released the lineup.
Does that say more about Dragon Ball or more about Street Fighter 5?
I think a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I Street Fighter 5 has been consistently getting better. But yeah, this Dragon Ball thing, it's like we mentioned before when we first started talking about the game. It is uniting people from all backgrounds.
It's bringing all the Marvel folk and
Oh.
then additional
wow.
Dragon folk.
It's the
people.
great
Even
unifier.
like
Dragon Ball
KOF,
folk.
KOF people are playing it.
Yep.
Leffen is a top level Dragon Ball fighter who only previously played Melee before this. Like,
Does it just have enough elements of each one of those to bring people in? Is
it's
that what's
both
going on?
elements and a communal love for the characters.
I see. Okay.
Of like, hey, A, I like Dragon Ball. B, this game plays really well. I'm going to put some time into it. And then also just the fact that it's the #1 game means, if you're if you're not like a game specialist, like, I'm the Tekken guy. I'm really good at Tekken. I only play Tekken. Like if you're just an FGC person and you want to get good, you play Dragon Ball because that's what everyone else is playing.
Man, what a success story.
Yeah. It's
I
really,
think
it's
so.
really
Crazy
cool.
to
Turned
think
out to
that
be.
all it took, maybe not all it took, but the big thing that happened is someone finally made a good Dragon Ball
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
After years of just dog shit.
Totally.
Ultimate Battle 22
and
and
26.
Final Bout or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, 27.
I had never
It's
actually
like poop from a dog.
Yeah, totally. It is like poop from a dog that's been eating poop.
Just double
Nothing but.
poop.
Yeah. And some people like those Budokai games. They're wrong, but that's fine. But also not fighting games in the traditional sense. So
I had a really good time with Budokai 2 while I had like really, really, really bad fever, really bad flu. And I was
what it
like,
was.
that's Captain Ginyu and he's doing the thing. I love this game.
That was the Budokai where you could fuse characters, right?
Yeah. And you could get
Perfect.
all those like awful, ugly fusions.
Yep. You could give Yamcha a third eye or stuff and make him a little clown.
Yeah.
Huh. You know, that does hold some kind of appeal now that you say it out loud.
All right. On to other news. Jeff, you alluded to the Culling 2 earlier.
Yeah.
Has anybody here played the Culling 2?
I tried.
Okay. So you own the game?
I installed the Culling 2 on PC.
I'm glad somebody did.
What kind of a game is the Culling?
'Cause
Real
it's-
quick.
The original The Culling is a battle royale game,
Like an early
one,
Okay.
but a smaller player count, kind of a game show focused kind of thing.
Yeah.
Was it like
It
more
was a little
melee
more crafting, maybe a little
fighting?
more melee.
Yeah, that you could put down traps and stuff.
Yeah,
and,
right. I only played the original Culling like once or twice and was like, man, I don't like this. Whatever. Some people liked it. It was fine. There were some people that got salty when Battle Royale got big after that because they're like, man, whatever. The Culling came first, which is not whatever. And so the Culling kind of got left in the dust by Battlegrounds,
PUBG,
by Fortnite, obviously, like all the other stuff. The Culling was kind of left in the dust.
Radical Heights.
By Radical Heights. Whatever. I played a game of Radical Heights. It seems like it was already better than the Culling 2.
Yikes.
Which less than 2 days after its release in early access, I tried to play it, launched it. This was after they had announced they put out a statement on Steam. Statement is maybe a loose. They said like, we got to reevaluate some stuff about our game.
Yeah,
and I was like, I should probably install this while I can. And ran it and was able to run around a lobby and shoot guns on a football field. But I was the only player. There was no other player ever joined. It was completely empty.
Yeah. Well, now it is extra completely empty because they have pulled it from sale.
Yeah.
You can no longer buy the Culling 2 because nobody was playing it.
They pulled it, so they're going to be issuing refunds to
Yes. Anybody who
people
bought
that
It
it
came out on Xbox One as well.
and PS4, yeah.
I installed. It came out on PS4.
Yeah,
I thought it was early access.
They say it was $20. This story here says,
Yeah.
Xbox, PS4, PC. Yeah,
Didn't like active users drop to 1 to 2 within
it was like
36
single-
hours?
like single-digit
it
player
was
base.
Just no one was playing it.
Like-
Also on top of that, people that were fans of the Culling were pissed because
Right.
they were like, "Oh, you're just chasing after the popular games now instead of doubling down on the thing we
Did you
at
change
least
that?
some number of players seem to like."
Did 2 change that much from
It was
one?
a completely different game.
Really?
Like 2 was a PUBG, Fortnite realm, or Radical Bike, whatever. It was
Yeah.
like that type of game, that type of player count,
Okay.
all that.
And they
other
were
stuff.
just very
It was
heavily leaning into,
yeah,
we're
like
the original
in
battlegrounds.
the lobby. It was like, here's a ton of guns for you to pick up and shoot. It wasn't like fucking tape this stick to this rock or whatever.
That-
Um,
Seems like a bad way to go.
I mean, those games are very
They-
popular. I
Well,
understand why
yeah,
someone
but
would try. But
like I played some of that Islands of Nine on UPF a couple weeks ago,
Right.
and like I was shocked because people were saying, "Oh, it's like Crisis, it's like a sci-fi version of that." But then
Yeah.
I played it, and it kind of just felt like PUBG,
yeah,
like just doing the thing that one of the big ones is doing. Not
yeah, there are
Not-
enough of
not a
those.
great-
There are enough big games and enough also rans out there right now that
Yeah.
like it just seems like
like we're
unless you've got some way to poke through, which I might argue that if you're the developers of the Culling, the answer to that question would be like, well,
We did this.
the Culling was popular. We've
Yeah.
got a fan base.
Yeah.
We think we can punch through. But no, they super fucking did not.
It feels like we have skipped directly to the late Infinite Crisis cycle of the
yeah.
of the sort
Of
of
like
battle-
MOBAs that never exit beta.
yeah,
Yeah.
of the land grab of this hot genre where there's actually only room for like 2 games.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've pulled the Culling 2 from sale, and they have now announced plans to go back and restart development on the Culling 1.
Which like their ideas for restarting development is like scary in its own way
Yeah.
because it's like we're gonna make it more like it was when we first rolled out in early access.
So they're basically trying to travel back in time because they're regressing Culling 1 to its original state.
I imagine that over the time of development of Culling 1 that maybe people fell away from it because they didn't like the direction it was going or something
that's
like that.
basically what they imply. Yeah,
Which is,
like
so
they list out changes they made during early access that people didn't like, so they're reverting all that stuff back.
this is like a super desperate move, and I just don't see how you
yeah.
recapture like
Also,
people
the-
have moved on to other games,
And then also
Like, the idea
ultimately
that-
it's going to go free to play. That's the last piece of the puzzle.
okay.
Yeah.
And like,
Kinda
I
has
mean,
to.
as a fan, let's say I was a fan of Culling 1 and I don't like what they did and I fell off and started playing something else.
Yeah.
What, like, so A, they messed up the game that I already liked. B, they've launched a new game that was completely bad that they had to remove from the marketplace entirely. What faith how do I have any faith in going back to this? How do I have any faith that this developer is going to handle this game with care and do something new and do what I liked before?
And also what you liked before,
Yeah.
And like time marches on, you probably have found another game you like by now. And the idea of like,
and it's probably PUBG
maybe,
or Fortnite. Like,
if you take a look at Fortnite, they came out with it. It was all PvE stuff.
Right.
They completely shifted and pivoted and came
Yeah.
out with something that was way more popular. Not saying that they're capable of doing this, but perhaps by going back to their roots, they will.
The thing is, I
it just
think
seems
that
like they're 0 for 2 lately.
They
totally.
could drag some people back in. I'm sure there'll be people that'll be like, "Oh, I liked that originally. I would love to play some more of it."
Yep.
But is that how many people is
Dude,
that?
I have
is that enough
no
to,
idea. I
yeah,
have no idea what it takes to like punch through, and like we had no fucking idea Fortnite would be
Totally.
this popular. It's ridiculous. I don't understand it. I don't know how it works. I'm old.
Somebody pulled a quote from UPF months ago of me saying, "Hey, what if this thing becomes the biggest game in the world?"
Yeah.
Apparently,
For
Battle
what?
Royale mode
Oh,
when it first came out.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think looking at this, it just seems like, hey, and what they've said, their backs have to be up against the wall, just
Totally.
as like survival of the studio type stuff. I would
Yep.
assume.
Yeah, it's like it is the Radical Heights move, right? Of like,
I guess.
here's our last ditch attempt.
Wow.
But this is like the post Radical Heights move
Yeah.
of we're also gonna. They shut down Radical Heights, and then they said, "Hey, we got this other game, and we're rolling that back to like." It's bizarre. The culling situation is super bizarre.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Um,
At least everybody's getting their money back.
Yeah.
So no harm, no foul.
what about those achievements on Xbox? What are the achievement fans on Xbox gonna do? They're gonna have to have like achievement weekend. Get the 9 people that
All
bought
right.
this game together. Try and get them.
Rarest achievements on the service.
Yeah, that's what Marvel Heroes.
A German cybersecurity firm called Cromtech
Yep.
has put out a report about games like Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, and there was one other one, Marvel Contest of Champions,
Mm-hmm.
being used in the course of committing financial crimes,
Of course.
Okay.
which seems to
well-
have generated a fair number of headlines around the internet.
How do you launder money? through
I've been
this?
caught.
It sounds remarkably straightforward. They're basically loading. They're creating accounts. They're loading them up with currency bought with stolen credit cards, and then selling those accounts.
Oh, selling the accounts.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, because you can't.
So
like,
yeah, because you can't trade the
okay.
currency. I'm with you. I thought this seemed like maybe a little more difficult than it would need, or there's got to be better avenues for this stuff. But,
Right.
So if you've already got an account,
You'd have to start a new one.
You'd have to start a new one.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know. People that are deep into these games, like there are people in my Clash Royale clan who have like 3 separate accounts that they play concurrently.
What?
So people are looking for it for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a way to get it.
Yeah.
I guess you got all these credit cards. Got to do something with them.
Yeah.
Buying FIFA packs ain't working out as much as maybe it used to.
Epic shut down all the Fortnite stuff, seemingly.
It's a lot of best
It
value.
seems like it. Maybe. Yeah.
Is it really money laundering if you're starting with a credit card, though?
Well,
Isn't that more credit card fraud?
I guess. Yeah, that'd be
like-
more credit card fraud.
Yeah, because money laundering, you need a chunk of dirty money
Yeah.
to start with.
Well, maybe you
Well,
had that chunk
that
of
is
dirty
the
money.
Dirty money.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Maybe you're taking that dirty money and loading it onto.
That's
I was
the
gonna say the minute
that's
you
the
load it onto
laundering
a
process.
prepaid credit card or something, you're putting it back in the system in a traceable way. But,
Yeah. I guess we're splitting hairs here. But,
Yeah.
yeah, that stuff's filthy.
Gross.
That's right.
We
If you're
knew- we knew
listening-
it all along.
federal government, if you're listening, none of us have any idea how to launder money at all. So don't worry about that. We
Yeah.
don't know it in the slightest.
I think the thing that's going to get me to stop playing Clash Royale is finding out that people are just running it in whatever the Android emulator is called,
BlueStacks
Yeah.
or whatever,
and just hacking it.
Or
Which,
have you
at this point-
lost to cheaters?
I can't say definitively, but there
Yeah.
definitely like instances have ramped up of me going like, you play, right?
Yeah.
Have you noticed this? Like, there's been a few instances of like this guy seems to be making units faster than he should be able to.
I was about to ask if you were noticing Elixir production
Yes.
a little bit faster.
Yes, that's exactly what it
Okay,
feels like.
yeah.
I'm like, how did that guy just drop that, and that all in 3 seconds?
I
That makes
thought it
no
was lag
sense.
on my end,
Yeah.
but
if people are emulating
But
it
then
on Android.
people in my clan then a couple days later said, yeah, this is starting to become a real problem. In which case, I'm never going to play that game again.
Or what if you installed BlueStacks and took it to them? Yeah, no, Tap Titans 2, which is an idle game that I've been known to spend some time with. They had situations where, like, if you're clicking too fast because you're using an auto clicker in an Android emulator on Windows or something to that effect, like they have error messages that'll pop up to say like, "Hey, we basically caught you cheating."
Huh.
And
Revolver Ocelot
they rolled
pops
out
up.
they rolled out an update last week before or something that like, so they have tournaments that'll be like 24-hour period.
So there are competitive aspects.
Yeah, there's
to
a
that
competitive
thing?
aspect where like, hey, you whoever gets to the highest level in
Yeah.
24 hours.
I was gonna say like just gaming your number for your own benefit
that-
seems like kind of a victimless
you're-
crime, but
you're short circuiting their monetization if
But
you
yeah,
do.
yeah,
but
sure,
yes,
sure.
it's victim. Yeah, but in the competitive aspect of it, yeah, if you're suddenly like, in this tournament and clicking your way to the top and getting, I want to say it's like $20 worth of diamonds or, and plus whatever gear bonuses they give
clicking
you.
my way to the top.
Yeah. They frown upon that, and they had to keep that, they had to try to keep that sane. So they rolled out an update that increased the number of server checks it does in a tournament, and the whole game caught on fire, basically. They rolled out a tournament, and basically those server checks, the server was getting overloaded. So the whole game would gray out, and you would see a spinner as it was trying to connect, and eventually it would just die. And once it dies, you can't make any progress. So I'm looking at it going like, well, that's what you do. You push an update. This sometimes this happens, and they eventually acknowledge like, hey, we're working on it. We have another patch that's going to fix this. But like, people were pissed, man. Like I look at it and go like, it's an idle game. It's fine. It's okay. But then granted, I'm looking on the subreddit for a fucking idle game. So, I'm kind of self-selecting, find the angriest people about a thing.
Yeah.
They'd be like, I haven't missed a tournament in over a year. This is preposterous. It's like, what are they going to... And eventually they gave everybody...
the nerve of these people.
They gave everybody some kind of make good, of currency and whatever. And
There's got to be some other things you can do with your thumb for a little while.
Yeah, sure.
Put it in a pie.
Yeah.
Hitchhike.
Okay.
Mhm.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Have a war. Go to war.
Yeah, you could have some kind of thing.
Burn off your thumbprint.
Exactly.
So you
I had to go to the DMV. I had to renew my license. I got a federal ID this
Ooh.
time.
You're in the system,
I had to
citizen.
There was like, they had a thumbprint scanner, and it was like the name on it. It just said, "You are you," the letter U, ARE, the letter U, which is like the brand name for this thumbprint scanner.
Yeah,
it was just
that's
this like
some cyberpunk
fancy little,
shit.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it going like, man, even the camera that they used to take my picture said like L1 identity something something. It was like, it's a fucking camera.
And
No, it's a camera.
It's a depth camera. It's
with
got to
a-
be.
yeah.
Yeah. It's got to be.
That's stored on some super secure database.
Yeah.
you're just ending up in some mixture of RoboCop and Judge Dredd or something.
Yep,
Is that
pretty much.
what's happening here?
Anyway,
Have you guys been
Great.
to a Best Buy recently and returned something there? Because they
Yes.
made me, they took a picture of my face and made
Oh,
me
wow.
scan my
Wow.
thumb.
Whoa.
For whatever reason. Maybe it's because I have a Best Buy account.
Just got one of those faces.
no,
No, you have a
Oh,
dark Best Buy account.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm also laundering money.
no, I returned something a month or two ago and didn't have to go through that.
Yeah, they their thumbprint scanner wasn't working well, so I stayed an extra 10 minutes just to get my thumb scanned.
Huh.
And the person would not let me go until they had scanned my finger for whatever reason. Didn't tell me exactly why, but just got in the system.
Weird.
I would have walked.
Yeah.
Future's great. It's a good time.
Well, I figure once I get back into the dark world of cybercrime, I'm going to burn off my thumbprints anyway.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
they can have my legit thumbprints
Yeah.
all they want because I'm going to replace them with
Cooler ones.
Yeah.
Like smiley
ones.
faces.
Oh,
prismatic
yeah.
prismatic
Emojis.
overlays.
Oh man, if you could customize your thumbprint.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's just staring at their thumb.
What?
You need to stop.
Why?
We doing an audio show.
But look, it's like it starts with like a little circle, and then there's more circles.
What would you change your
Look at
thumbprint to if you could customize it?
Goku.
Okay.
Yeah.
Goku's hair, like Goku's head and hair, I feel like would make a good thumbprint.
Which Goku?
Just base
Just base Goku.
to Goku.
Okay.
Sick.
I think I would change it to a smaller thumb giving a thumbs up.
There you go.
That's pretty good too.
I'm gonna
Rare.
I'm gonna put Squirtle on mine. Yeah.
Burn them off.
Just lop it off.
a GIF of somebody burning off somebody else's thumb
Yeah,
print.
we could probably do GIFs, right?
Mm-hmm. I would get one of those heat-sensitive Transformers things, and if you rub my thumb long enough, it says I'm a Decepticon.
There you go.
Are there GIF
And then I
tattoos?
fly
Lewd
away.
Thumb.
Yeah.
Look, I'm angry.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm depressed.
Look, I'm still angry. By the way, angry.
Peaceful.
Nope, still angry.
You know who else is angry?
Who?
Nintendo.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
No.
You know who they're angry at?
Steaming mad at ROMs.
ROM sites.
LoveRoms.com and LoveRetro.co,
Man, I love ROMs too.
who they have sued
Who doesn't love
for
ROMs?
a lot of money.
A lot of money.
$150,000 for the infringement of each Nintendo copyrighted work,
Each.
and up to $2 million for the infringement of each Nintendo trademark.
Yeah.
That's
It's a lot of money.
that is a lot of money.
Both of those sites are operated by the same individual, named Jacob Matthias.
Oh, let's just name the guy. Hey,
It's right here.
hey.
in
I
this-
feel like Nintendo already.
Innocent
Yeah,
before-
they're kinda-
right here in
yeah.
this news story.
Yeah, so they were using box art and
Yeah.
a lot of Nintendo stuff around their ROM downloads.
Yeah, the one thing I can't tell from this news story is if you were just downloading ROM files or if they actually had like built-in web-based emulators.
Yeah.
They may. I believe they may have had both.
Okay.
Okay.
So you could just play the games in your browser right
I
there.
think so. I
That's-
don't.
that's the wording is vague in this story, but that's
I
kind
was
of what it
aware
sounds
of
like.
the sites, but had never used those.
Yeah.
Those ones. So I don't really know what they offered, but they may have also had like, here's a way to donate to the site or get around a download limit by paying us or some kind of additional money thing, which is where that crosses over from, hey, we sent you a cease and desist, and gets into, hey, you're making money on our stuff.
Yeah.
But it's okay because he owns physical copies of all those games, so he can't go to jail for.
He said he deletes the
Right.
website and recreated it every 24 hours.
Yeah.
So totally legal.
Totally.
Loopholed.
The suit mentions reproducing and distributing proprietary BIOS software as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sure.
that's a big no-no.
That's all owned. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. The
They
other
pulled
thing,
the stuff right away, right?
Yeah,
They
so
pulled
the,
that.
I
both
forget
sites
which
are
is
completely
which.
gone now.
Did the other one
Yeah,
go down?
They are both down.
Initially,
now.
he killed one of the sites and just removed all the Nintendo stuff from the other
Yeah,
site.
the
but
other one is
sounds
now
like he's now taking
gone.
both sites down.
Yeah.
17 million visitors a month, so it was not small.
Right. Yeah. This is the stuff that's like showing up in they're SEOing for this stuff. They're
Sure,
they're,
Google's Nintendo
Yeah,
ROMs.
like I want to play the Super Mario Brothers, and they're like, "Hey, come over here and play it."
And I do.
And
Well, then Nintendo has something for you already.
Yeah, so like obviously they just need to vigorously protect their trademarks, which they're doing. But do you think there's?
I would not call them vigorously defending because this stuff
Well,
has gotten rampant.
Yeah,
over the
they're
last
doing what they
several
need
years.
to do. But
But like compared to any other, I mean, nobody
Sure.
else is going after ROM sites really.
well, that's
other
what I
than
was going to
Nintendo.
say.
Right.
On top of
Yeah.
their due diligence, do you read anything into this in terms of like they have plans to make these old games a focal point of their business?
Well, they're coming in the Switch service.
Yeah,
The Switch service will contain some aspect
Yeah.
of their old games.
I guess I
So-
didn't feel like that. Maybe they need to talk more about that, but I didn't feel
I
like that was
bet-
going to be a huge component of that thing.
I bet what happened, or part of what happened, a contributing factor here is the number of articles and people and all this other stuff that in response to like the sale of the SNES Mini and a lot of other stuff, the response was like, "Fucking buy a Raspberry Pi. What are you even doing with this shit?" Like the frequency that people responded with, "Hey, why don't you just steal everything?" Was such that they're like, okay, this is actually it's crossed over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These files have been available for download on the internet for decades
Yeah.
in many cases. And that's not ever going to change unless you completely reform the internet in a completely different way and really fucking lock it down.
Even then, there are a lot of island nations out there
Yeah, totally.
with their own loose regulations.
But the thing that changed is this stuff became very easy. You visit a website, run it in a browser, all that other stuff. It becomes very easy, and casual piracy is the stuff that you want to try to put a stop to, right?
Yeah.
Is like, hey, we're never going to stamp it out completely, but let's make them jump through some hoops at least, right? If I type in Super Mario Brothers online, and the first thing I get is a place that lets me play the game in a web browser, and Nintendo at some point is going to be like, fuck this, man. We got to do something.
yeah, Although, like, so when you bring up the casual ease of playing these games being the factor here, like
Yeah.
that leads you right back to the original iTunes thing of like, what if you legally make it
Totally.
easier for people to access this stuff than if
I
they
think
steal it?
That's the
Like,
and
what?
they should do
Yeah,
that.
like what if there was a Netflix for the NES library on
Right.
your Switch?
This is what I think people have been saying
Would you
since
pay
the Wii.
Would you pay $5 a month to be able to just play any NES game on your Switch at
No.
any time?
Maybe.
Too much?
I'm just not interested in playing NES games. Like I have a few that I would play, but
It's just so easy.
I mean,
to
they're so
steal
It depends on the completeness of the library. If it was just first-party Nintendo stuff, no.
Yeah.
If it was
I mean,
everything,
well,
all
I-
this third-party stuff, like
I was thinking everything, but I guess that would be hairy from a business.
It
Like
is.
they'd have to go
Yeah.
do deals with all the third parties.
and no one wants to charge. No one wants to charge what people will pay.
Yeah.
When it comes to selling the stuff outright, like
Sure.
all the hamster stuff is $8 on the Switch. These Neo Geo, like League Bowling for the Neo Geo, don't pay $8 for that game.
Yeah.
That's still too much. I'm not even saying it's a bad game. I'm just saying like the amount of enjoyment you're likely to get out of it. $8 is steep.
Yeah.
The game room stuff that Microsoft sold, when they were like asking $5 a game, even that seemed like too much. But they have to charge that amount for Konami to give a shit.
Yeah.
To license the stuff to them to do it. So at some point, that business just doesn't make sense in that format. But I think a subscription service could. But I would want that subscription service to be the full library at all times.
Totally. I absolutely agree.
And I think that that's difficult.
Like, file size wise, how big could the entire NES library be? Like, you could probably fit that on a Switch easily, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you could.
So
Definitely.
you don't even have to worry about people having an internet connection to access all the games. You could
Right.
have them download them and just restrict
You
the
could
access.
probably include the entire NES library in the Switch firmware.
Okay. All right then.
I don't know that for sure, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. Nintendo has been also dealing with a lot of stuff around the security of the Switch.
Sure,
And,
yeah.
the 3DS went through what it went through.
Yeah.
And so I think that this is them maybe waking up to some of the more obvious stuff that they can go like, hey, this is actually against the law. That's not going to stop people. These files, like I said, these files have been distributed for decades. No one's ever going to stop that.
Yeah.
But if they can at least say like, hey, let's make it a little less easy so that people who would theoretically sign up to a service someday don't just accidentally run into this website full of games along the way and go, oh, I'll just do this instead.
You got to find the guy standing there with a fire hose spraying NES ROMs all over the place.
Right.
Or it's like when the fire hydrant bursts outside and everybody plays in the water.
Exactly. Everyone jumps out and go like, Clash at Demon Head, gross, get it off me. Yeah, so I don't know. There's a line in there also that I don't really. I found it interesting that it was included. I'm sure it's just the wording of the law, but they say something about public performance of,
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you have it in front of you.
Yes. In addition to Nintendo's video games, defendants reproduce, distribute, and publicly perform a vast library of Nintendo's other copyrighted works on and through the Love ROMs and Love Retro websites.
You want after cosplayers too?
If you want to see this all the way down, if you want to see this as them flexing the maximum amount of their rights,
Oh no.
publicly perform means exactly what you think it
Oh
means.
no. Why would they do that?
They wouldn't.
Wait,
Are they just letting you know they can?
I think that's
in
just
what
like
regard? Sorry, what does that mean?
Like
streaming these games
Okay.
on Twitch.
Yeah.
The legality of putting up video of these games. Public performance is this thing that's been in the manuals, the back, like things you're not allowed to do with the games. Like even they tried to stop rental.
It's
that
like
way,
you're
too.
not allowed to play the radio at a bar, like technically,
Right.
That
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's why places like these arcade bars and stuff like that are like, we just got Nintendo set up and you can rent them.
Oh yeah, that became a big thing in Japan.
Right.
Like those
yeah.
bars
no,
are,
they're
those
cracking
bars
down
are
on that,
straight
right?
up getting shut down in Japan for public exhibition of
and,
games.
And public exhibition of consumer games
Yeah.
is something that is technically against those laws. I don't know that that's necessarily been tested in this country and all that other stuff.
So what about like PAX?
Uh,
They do something like that. They have console rooms where you can just
Right.
go play games.
you could argue that PAX is making money selling badges to allow people access to those games, and they're making money off of that, and that could potentially fall under public performance. Like, I'm not a lawyer, I don't fucking
Sure.
know, but
But then
But sure, you could see a world where if someone wanted to take this all the way to the wall, which they won't because it's not in their best interest to. It's not
It's like the mutually assured destruction.
Yeah, like that's not a fan friendly move, but also like there's a real benefit to those games being streamed on Twitch and all that other stuff in terms of interest.
Yeah.
That created the interest that I think could allow Nintendo to launch a subscription service someday.
But then again, if you were, let's say, a super crafty business guy at Nintendo HQ and you guys, you had a movement of like, let's start cracking down on this public stuff, it creates an opportunity for you. The only time you can see Nintendo products is on twitch.tv/Nintendo.
Right.
Right.
Or it's what they did with YouTube.
Yeah.
If you want to monetize video of Nintendo's games on YouTube, you have to sign a separate deal with them and cut them in on the profit. And you get a cut of a cut. And they're one of the few companies, they're the only company I can think of that has done that. So it's it's the Persona 5 streaming restrictions, it's all that other stuff of like, here's kind of, and if we take it for granted that this stuff is allowed and open, but dude, think about Twitch plays Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's an emulator, like emulation and ROM downloads or ROM files, I guess. Let's not say downloads, because maybe the person running Twitch plays Pokemon dumped their own ROM for that.
There's a robot on the other end actually pressing like a gyromite.
Yeah, they got to rob the robot hooked up
Game
to
Boy.
a Retrode, and it just dumps all the games.
Twitch pirates Pokemon.
Yeah, but like the things for the culture that have been enabled by emulation, open source emulators created by hobbyists, and widely available tools to dump these games. All the awesome weird shit with speedrunning. A lot of that stuff is the research is oftentimes done in an emulator.
Yeah.
All that half A button press
Yeah, I
shit
was just about to
that is
say.
awesome. Dissecting those games and putting them back together again is exciting and interesting and cool, and I think gives people a deeper appreciation for those games, and in turn probably makes them more interested in Nintendo's products. So it would be incredibly stupid to ride that all the way to the wall, and I don't think they will. I think so. Even if someone who didn't understand any of that positive benefit at Nintendo said, "No, we're riding this all the way," I would like to think there'd be enough like people in the way going like, "Don't actually do this. We need to talk this through."
So I have one more question then regarding this. You kind of half answered it so far, but why stop at NES games? Why not say you cannot have any Nintendo ROMs on your site? Game Boy Color, Super Nintendo, etc.
These sites may have not dealt in. I don't know. Maybe these sites didn't hold those libraries.
Okay.
I don't know. Or maybe they did and it all got shut down. I don't actually.
I think the language in the lawsuit is generic enough
Okay.
that it probably just covers everything.
Probably says like Nintendo.
Yeah.
Nintendo's
plates.
video games, Nintendo's copyrighted musical works and audio recordings, Nintendo's video game systems, proprietary BIOS software. It sounds like they just broadened the language enough.
Yeah.
Highly valuable intellectual property. It sounds like the language is probably broad enough to just cover everything they make.
There was
Okay.
a GitHub repository that got shut down because it was like a browser-based emulator that sounded like it had some ROMs built in with it.
Huh.
So it got DMCA'd for having Nintendo's stuff in there with it. They're not shutting down the emulator. They're shutting down, hey, this is our stuff you're packaging with it. Yeah, I don't know. There's been little hints and little bits and pieces that make it look like Nintendo was paying more attention to this stuff as of late.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
This
mostly
isn't the
what
first time that they've cracked down
seemed
on
notable.
sites out
it's
there.
not, no.
No.
But usually, I mean, back in the day, it was like, here's a picture of a guy in a Mario costume and a dude with a sledgehammer busting up Chinese Pokemon cartridges.
Yeah.
With a press release that says, "We fucking got him."
Wow.
Take it, Lick Sang, or whatever. And
It's like the shots of the DEA burning fields of weed or
yeah,
whatever.
exactly. It's the DEA of video games burning Game Boy copiers.
And there's
Getting
other
high as
instances,
fuck.
Yeah, totally. Those fumes will get you.
There's other instances of like Nintendo telling Evo you can't stream Super Smash Brothers Melee at your tournament, and then having to talk to lawyers and eventually backing off on that stuff. But it was like an instance of them flexing
Yeah.
and people saying, well, we can't actually do anything about this. All the best we can do is ask them not to.
Right. And try to make them understand why that's a real potentially a real dumb move.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mario.
I mean, Nintendo's one of those few big companies in games that does whatever it wants.
I guess
However
so.
ill-advised you might think it is, you know?
This is all Donkey Kong, dude. This all comes straight from DK.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way he's protective over his bananas is the way he is protective over his IP.
That's some deep state. DK.
Mario, of course, like he's rank and file with the company. He's going to support them no matter what. But I don't think he is crafty enough and or malicious enough to say we need to shut this down.
Yeah.
Mario no longer a hero of the people.
No, he's deep in the pockets.
He cashed it in years ago.
Sad. Let's see, a couple more quick news stories. I don't know if they announced this date before, but they have said now that they being Bethesda, that the Fallout 76 beta starting in October.
So like a month before it's out?
Yes. Game is out on November 4th. Yes, November 14th.
Why beta?
Pretty late beta.
Yeah. Well,
everyone's doing air quotes.
They do
for
have an
those
out.
listening.
They do have an out because they made beta an acronym. I forget what it stands for, but remember that?
Yeah.
What?
It's like VATS.
Fallout 76 B.E.T.A.
Break it early.
Oh yeah.
break it
it's a-
early,
yeah.
test something, whatever. The big thing, I don't know if they had announced this or not previously, but you have to pre-order the game to get on a list to maybe get selected to be in the beta.
So it's not even like guaranteed
Yes.
in the beta if you pre-order.
I would guess it sounds like they're going to do multiple waves where they will
Yeah.
get more and more people in. So I'm sure by the time it comes out or before it comes out, everybody who pre-ordered will get to play it.
Pre-order this game to
But-
see if you like it,
but
but
yeah.
you already bought it.
But yeah, the idea that you're going to get to use this beta to decide if you want to buy the game or not.
well,
no.
if they're doing it in waves, that almost implies that they really are looking to test their
Yeah.
server infrastructure and potentially break it.
I'm sure there is
Uh,
some legitimate use of this for testing.
I don't know. For how weird the language around this game has been, I would have really liked for them to have some sort of open beta.
Yeah. Yeah. Like this straight up says, this story I got off of Polygon straight up says in order to get into the pool of beta testers, you must pre-order Fallout 76 and then locate the redemption code on the pre-order receipt.
I don't think any two people have the same idea of what that game is going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. This game in particular, it feels like having a pre-release test period to figure out if you like it or not would be useful.
Yeah, totally.
It's a great reason not to have one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is weird. The thing continues to be weird. I hope it's good. Lastly, Jeff, they have announced a new Phantasy Star game.
Yes. Finally.
Talk,
Is it going to come to the U.S.?
talk about the new Phantasy Star game. I don't know.
No.
Maybe?
Probably not. Maybe. I don't know.
It's called Idola
Idola.
Phantasy Star Saga.
Yeah.
It's for phones.
What is that? Oh, never mind.
It actually
It's like a gotcha style. Like at the end of the trailer shows a character with like 5-star next to it.
what is
Like,
gotcha?
sure.
Like what? How exactly does that system
gotcha.
work?
Like a gachapon, like the
It is, yeah.
It's when you go
Random,
you get
Is it different from loot
slime
boxes?
out of a not really, but it's you put in the quarter and you turn the crank
Okay.
and the ball
It's a
comes
capsule-
down and
capsule
yeah, it's a
machine?
Okay.
Yeah. there
But
you
yeah,
go.
it's just
capsule machine.
it's-
That was-
Did you play Fire Emblem Heroes at all?
For like
Yes.
10 minutes.
That is
That.
a gotcha.
The trailer
Okay.
looks
A lot like-
pretty similar.
Yeah.
It
to
makes sense.
that
I
in
mean,
some ways.
there's those are the mobile games right now.
Yeah.
You know, you got like Grand Blue and Fate, Grand Order and shit pulling in millions of
Yeah.
dollars a day. You know, why not? If you've got a license that you think is popular enough in Japan and you can turn it into a gotcha game, do it.
This doesn't even
Yep.
look like Phantasy Star though.
No,
Like Phantasy Star has a specific vibe to it that this completely lacks. This
Yeah,
feels.
the
This looks
I don't feel
very.
like the trailer.
This just looks very like JRPG fantasy.
Yeah.
None of the weird cyber futuristic
Yeah, but
stuff.
Yeah.
you know, if you listen to that trailer, it's all in Japanese. But at one point, one character does scream out "Dark Falls."
This
so,
says the Dark Falls is in
Got the
it.
Dark Falls guy.
So
Okay.
there's one consistency there.
I need
But the
laser
trailer's a
swords.
bummer because it opens
I
with
need
like 30th
androids.
anniversary Phantasy Star
Yeah,
logo,
yeah.
and then
Yeah.
it
And
like
then here's-
shows footage of Phantasy Star and Phantasy Star 2. You know,
Uh-huh.
it shows footage of the
Uh-huh.
old games. Then it gets to now, and you're like, oh yeah, oh wait.
That looks nothing like that other
Are there
thing.
any ladies with pointy ears?
Not that I've seen yet,
man.
but you know that'll be an
Jesus.
event. That'll be a special event. Get your 5-star fucking Rudo.
Yeah, it's a lot of billowy shirts and lace and like
Weird.
fantasy looking stuff.
if you guys want to go down a dark rabbit hole, look up like people streaming their polls and like videos of people pouring hundreds of thousands of dollars into trying to get a 5-star.
Oh yeah.
You said polls, not
Yeah.
polls. Okay.
Yeah, like pulling characters out of the machine.
Oh, it's so dumb. Why
I
does
was
anybody
thinking
play
dicks
those games?
again.
Why do I play those games?
I was with you, Jason. Don't worry.
It's the worst thing. Why would you play a competitive game where people can just pay money to be better at the game?
Well, they're not
Who
even
would do that?
so.
Why would I do that?
My friends who are really into these games don't do it for the competitive aspect of it. They do it for the collection aspect of it,
Okay.
where it's like, I want my 5-star waifu,
Okay.
kind of.
That's okay. That's a little different than the garbage that I'm into.
So yeah, it's a completely different kind of garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The important thing to remember, it's all garbage.
It's all garbage.
Yeah, I don't see for sure if this is coming out in the U.S. or not.
No, they announced it in Japan. They
Yeah.
have not. I don't think they've said one way or the other.
There are people who worked on Valkyria Chronicles and Phantasy Star Online working on it, though.
Okay.
Yeah. PSO2 specifically, I
Okay.
think. Well, maybe they worked on PSO1 as well. I don't actually know, but
The good ones.
PSO2 is not bad.
Okay. All right. That's it for news.
I got one
Oh, yeah.
last thing.
Okay.
Breaking news.
More
This is like a kind of-
Crowdsource our news here.
kind of a one-line little thing here that I saw. Cool Voice of Canada, Brendan Sinclair, reporting over at gamesindustry.biz. It's an interview from E3 from the looks of things with David Ishmaelers, the president of 2K. And they didn't show any games. If you remember, 2K did not show video games at E3.
Yeah. For, I think, like a couple years
yeah,
now.
yeah.
They've really been absent.
But they did still have a booth, and they were just kind of hanging out in there and talking about the future. And it sounds like that they're looking to make a bigger run of it down the line. But the one little bit I did see that people have kind of latched onto and has been floating around as of late is that they are looking to, let me find the actual quote here. It's also stepping up investment in the WWE 2K franchise.
Oh, hell yeah.
And hopes to broaden the offerings coming out of Firaxis, describing China and the
Firaxis is
mobiles.
going to make a wrestling game?
Yeah, maybe. No.
Yeah. Now we're
But,
talking.
like, man, these wrestling games just feel like so lowest common denominator. Let's make them as cheaply as we can and just make sure the trailer looks good so we sell it to idiots that don't like good video games.
Okay, so to back up a little bit, when the changeover happened from THQ to 2K,
It's the
like
same
there,
game.
there was total continuity in developer and design and all that
you-
stuff,
you
right?
said- well,
Like,
visual
there's-
concepts came in, so the character models started looking a lot better.
Okay.
And my understanding is that that was like visual concepts kind of stepping in, and they made their basketball game look fantastic, and so some of that technology was then applied to wrestling.
But the kind of
but
the
core of the game,
the spirit,
is yes, the
Still
fighting
bad?
spirit is low,
Okay.
and I just feel like those games, like Ukes has been making that franchise. Ukes has been making licensed wrestling games here in the States dating back to the PS1.
Yeah.
And I feel like those SmackDown games on PS1, like those first couple of years, were pretty good.
Yeah.
Because it was a good fast-paced difference from the shit that was out there before it.
Mm-hmm.
But man, once they got into a rhythm with it, they just sucked the life out of that thing. And it never, people argue the same way they do with like a football, like, oh, this year the truck stick's back and that's good. They had to fire the guy who wanted to bring it back, but he was right. And so you have people that say like, oh, this year's wrestling game was slightly, this system was better than this system. I try it every year and it's like, this is just the same shit. Like you're right. Some of the trimming around the edges has changed. They've this reversal system, but like the core of it is just fucking bad.
Yeah. Like every 4 years, they might have an actual innovative.
And even then, it's like one or two features where you're like, oh, that's a smart thing.
They'll have a mode that's
Yeah.
mildly interesting.
And then when they changed generations, they actually did the sports game thing of stripping out a bunch of features along the way.
Great.
Right. Totally.
To then like maybe add them back in over time.
Some of the actually like good redeeming features, like the GM mode. And
like all the good story creator stuff they had in those last 360 game.
The creator wrestler, I feel like, did get worse over time.
Yeah, I think so.
Like the actual wrestler models have gone better, but the actual creator wrestler, not as.
And they
extensive.
still shut down their servers. Like they still like I want to say within like a year or so, the servers for last year's WWE game would go offline, so all of the created wrestlers just vanish and a lot of stuff like that. Like they shut them down pretty quickly. And even I don't know if they still do it, but they would have like download limits. Like you can only download 20 wrestlers a day.
Oh yeah, and it was
And
just you would have to sometimes like do I don't remember which WWE exactly, but I was messing around with it where I had to like use an app on my phone to take a picture and scan it and then pull it up on the thing and match QR code with another thing. And
there's a lot of shit like that. These games need an overhaul. Like the people that I was going to say wrestling fans deserve better. I don't know, actually. But whatever. Those games could be worlds better.
Totally.
Like they've made the graphics look really nice. Like the wrestler models look really good, and some of the animation is still fucked up. Those games are broken in different ways every year. Just like ref arms stretching and getting caught in a thing, and just like everything freaking out. And that's the best part. That's become the best part about those games is the way they're broken every year. You know.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
so how does dumping more money into this help?
Well, we'll see. I don't know. That it's literally one sentence in this interview, but it's like the first sign I've ever seen of someone acknowledging, like, yeah, we think this could be better.
Okay.
You say wrestling fans deserve better. I think, like, I mean, I would never watch WWE, but I would totally be down with if it was a good game, down with a wrestling game, just because, you know, it's got lots of characters.
It's competitive.
It's competitive.
It's like
fighting,
a good
you can
character
build
creator.
scenarios.
Like, if they build that right with a good story creator.
I could totally see myself getting that.
If I can execute on like more, you know, if I can see more ghost problems stories making its way back in, then
Ghost problems most.
Yeah.
Needs to happen. Do you think there's room, let's say they are afraid to mess with what is basically a cash cow, however shitty it is, like if they're afraid to mess with that core formula, like is there room for another game on the edge? Like a more experimental...
Like to make a second game, you mean? Like ship 2 games?
Like with a kind of a differerent focus. Like they were doing those sort of Legends of Wrestling type things.
So, I think so. So they actually they also picked up... remember that NBA Playgrounds game that came out?
Yeah.
Saber Interactive did it. It was not very good.
Yeah.
They announced a sequel, and since then that sequel has changed its name to NBA 2K Playgrounds 2. And 2K is publishing it and all the other stuff. So, yes. And 2K publishes multiple wrestling games. It's just that one of them is like a fucking card game for phones, and and whatever else they've done.
Yeah. Who did the last one that was basically like an All Stars of Wrestling? Was that still in the THQ era?
Yeah.
I forget what WrestleMania. Yeah, that's the one that they had Randy Savage going around promoting.
No, they didn't have Randy Savage.
He was doing one of them. I mean, this was years ago.
I think he'd passed away by that point.
Sworn he did.
So he did a promo tour for that Acclaim game that was unlicensed.
Oh, maybe that's what I was thinking.
I think
about.
is what that was.
Okay.
That was Legends of Wrestling.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, and that was an unlicensed thing. But yeah, they did a Legends of, I think it was called Legends of WrestleMania, and that was the one where I interviewed Sergeant Slaughter. And they tried to recreate scenarios from old. There were some neat things around the edges of that game, but then you had to play it.
There was no WWE All Stars.
Right. That was a good, fun, crazy game.
It had amazing vignettes in that.
Yeah, totally.
The fake CM Punk and Stone Cold one,
Yeah.
the dream match.
Yeah, there was some really cool stuff.
Let's play through that, please.
I still want to play
I'd like
that.
to see that.
I never remember the name of it. I think it was the Data East arcade one. You know what I'm talking about?
Matt Mania. Or it was actually licensed.
Yeah, it was licensed. It might have been still
WrestleFest.
I think it might have still been WWF at that
that would
point.
have definitely been WWF WrestleFest.
I remember
Had
Big
Savage
Boss.
in it or no?
What's that?
Was it big characters in it?
Was it the one that had the big full screen Ted DiBiase and Andre the Giant
That
in an interview?
sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Yes, I think Big Boss Man featured
I
prominently.
want to say that's WrestleFest, but there was also a Royal. Well, that had a Royal Rumble mode in it. That game was going to come to 360. I don't think it ever did.
I think this is totally it. Yes, WWF WrestleFest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They were
looks like
working on putting that out on Xbox Live Arcade.
Really?
And I
that'd
don't
have been
think
great.
it ever actually happened.
That's a bummer.
There was some talk that they were going to put new people in it. There's a build of it floating around.
Huh.
Like an old PartnerNet build
Oh,
somewhere.
wow.
That'd be great. That was a good game.
Yeah, that game was cool.
That was a good game until you realized you could just put another quarter in. So when Mr. Perfect was grabbing his stomach and going, you're just like, oh, I need to push the start button to recover all my health and then keep going. Yeah, that was a
an
pretty
animation.
What if they put in-
finishers and stuff? Yeah, it was good.
What if they put in Goku?
Which one?
Yeah.
I'll take what I can get.
Mm.
Goku makes
John
everything
Cena
better.
as Goku.
Okay. Sold.
Put in a quarter to Super Saiyan up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Change the color of your hair.
Yeah.
Instant transmission. You can't see me.
All right, that's it for news. Let's take another quick break before we come back and read emails.
Yeah.
Hello, let's read some emails.
Hooray!
Glad to hear you're on board.
Yay!
Bombcast at giantbomb.com.
This is my favorite part of the show.
Is it? Why is that?
It's just I don't know what's coming.
Yeah.
It's just something you say.
Yeah.
All right. Gavin writes in from Northern Ireland.
Much like a teen, you get to react.
Yes.
Mm.
I love to react.
Giant Bomb reacts.
TM.
Yes. Gavin writes in and says, I recently booted up my Switch for the first time in months and decided I'd have a look on the eShop to see what had come out recently. To my surprise, among the most recent releases on the UK store were 3 Japanese language 18+ rated games in a series called Pure/Electric Love. With my curiosity piqued, I clicked to find them describe themselves as, quote, a love-likeness pseudo-talk game, Electric Love, that is a topic in the smartphone, a little embarrassing, in a conversation, that pounding romance skill up.
One more time?
Oh, boy. Let's just move on. And featuring other such descriptive gems as Fetish Cosplay Year, Hobby Survival Game, shooting,
No, I'm out.
Fighter Horn Blowing,
Back in, baby.
The fuck is that?
Fetish Cosplayer Eri Kitano is a welcome Otiyuki blog. Please tell her with hyper deadly tension. And finally,
I need to tell you something with hyper deadly tension.
rotation in a good sense.
Oh, yeah.
While being healed, make the brain gear turn at super speed with maid, bondage, etc. Gallery image movie.
Maid, bondage, etc.
So my question is this. Is the Nintendo seal of quality dead? Is porn on the eShop inevitable at this point?
They're curating the right stuff, it sounds like.
You know,
I'd put my seal on that.
yeah, this
Gross.
stuff came out on the Japanese eShop a while ago, and then eventually made its way over to the US and I guess the UK,
crazy.
the EU shops as well. I've been a hair away from buying one of these for like every time I open it up and there's another thing there. You're like, I should really see what this is. It looks like they didn't translate it at all.
Huh.
Yeah,
So I don't know what the fuck
like
you're
a Google
supposed-
Translate.
Yeah,
on
like, and
just
that's
the
for like the shop
description.
description, but the screenshots are all still in Japanese.
Oh, wow.
So, like, I don't know what you'd even get.
I mean, the
I know what you
language-
might get out of it, but
The language of love is universal,
that's a good point.
so you'd probably be
Yeah.
able to figure out how to play it.
Yeah. And then there's a lot of DLC for sale for this stuff too. Like it seems like you buy the initial download, and then there's a bunch of new scenarios you can add on. These are just it's all like, I don't know if it's photos or video. I assume it's video. Of these girls doing whatever it is they're doing.
Gallery image
fighting-
and a movie.
Yeah, but
They're
you know,
fighting hornblowers.
they're not going to allow full on nudity on the eShop, I don't believe. So,
You can get a
so
patch.
it's probably not what you're looking for.
But yeah, the running narrative about the eShop is that it's
It's got a lot of stuff on it.
a mess.
It's got a lot of stuff on it.
Anybody can kind of put in any old thing up there.
Yeah.
Like,
So
does it stuff,
Self-publishing is
sneak
self-publishing.
through,
No,
or-
this is like, what are you going to say no to? As long as it's
Right.
within your guidelines of like, hey, this isn't actual porn. You're going to allow M-rated games onto the platform, which, Nintendo used to, we all know, they used to have a much firmer hand in terms of the amount of violence they would allow on. At some point, they're like, oh, actually,
Now they have a firmer hand in a different regard.
yeah. I mean, BMX XXX came out on the GameCube.
Yeah.
It didn't
That's fair.
have. It had it was slightly different than the PS2 version in terms of I think you could go bottomless on PS2, but there was a black bar on GameCube. I forget what it was.
I guess
That's
that's
got to be uncomfortable for biking.
yeah, no, it's
that's probably why this is surprising to me, is because it's hard to let go of that Mortal Kombat 1 era image of Nintendo.
yeah. I mean, self-publishing plus like what is an M-rated game, all the other stuff. Actually, I guess that stuff doesn't even have to go through ESRB, does it?
I think if it's download only, it doesn't.
Yeah. So yeah, you're gonna get stuff like this, as you should, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you're gonna let people publish stuff on their platform and you're gonna be fairly open on the content end of things, then you're eventually gonna get some stuff like this along the way.
I guess it's less a matter of what you allow people to put out and more how you curate it,
Right.
how you present it.
Totally, and it's not like they're putting this stuff necessarily in featured promoted positions.
Right.
It's you go to see what's everything that came out in the last 30 days.
Or I guess if anything, the problem is that's kind of how they do it, right? It's just like, here's everything.
yeah,
Like,
they
there
don't.
is not a lot of curation on the eShop from the sound of it.
I loaded up the 3DS eShop recently, and I hate it, but for a different reason. If anything, it's too curated. Like, it's too many different buckets of like, here's new stuff, here's like, and then they break down into different genres, and here's the stuff that's theoretically on sale, or there's, but none of it is presented very well because the 3DS eShop was never a great place to play games. So I think they'll probably eventually have to redesign the eShop just to better accommodate the number of games available.
But I hope they don't take that bucket approach as well, because it's so hard to find like smaller titles.
Yeah,
because you're going to get Super Mario.
Well, if you want to
Mario
find
Kart 8,
yeah,
like in 3 different of those buckets,
they're never going to promote this game though. So if you want to find the smaller titles, the truly small titles, you're always going to have to go to show me the new releases and let me scroll through everything.
And that sucks. If I'm a small indie developer, I'm not making a porn game. I'm making a shmup or something. And it's really cool. I'm not going to get FaceTime.
Yeah, maybe they need to provide some more levers for developers that want to spend some money on marketing on the front page of the eShop.
Gross.
That's what that stuff is.
I
like
know,
the placement,
the
placement on the PS4 shop. That's not free.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
I almost really like their channel concept on the Switch, except I don't think that lives in the eShop. Is that part of their news section?
Yeah, that's part of the news.
But you can't go browse individual channels. You can only subscribe to them and get a massive feed of everything.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I want to go look at the Mario Odyssey channel and see all the stuff you put up about Mario Odyssey, but you can't do that.
Right.
You can only subscribe to it and pull it
and then it's in the mix of and because I have a Japanese account on my Switch, I get the same things twice because it'll be the Japanese version and the English version, and some of that's really fun because it's like the Japanese equivalent of the Nintendo Minute.
Yes,
and
there was some good stuff on the Japanese eShop for sure.
Yeah,
but they should let you browse those channels.
Maybe I'll buy one of those things someday, and we will take a look at some fetish cosplay on a Switch.
Give me the term again. Is it fighting horn blowing?
Fighter horn blowing.
Fighter horn blowing.
Yes.
Fetish made, etc.
Fetish cosplay year.
Get your horn blown.
Rotation in a good sense.
That's my fetish.
Not
good rotation.
Not in a bad sense.
No.
Yeah.
Like a nice smooth rotation?
No, like Tetris used to have.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ott in Virginia.
Really gets the brain gears turning at a high speed, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I do. Your conversation about phone freaking on the last podcast got me thinking. What if instead of being a cryptocurrency hellscape simulator, Watch Dogs 3 was a period-appropriate sneakers adaptation?
Or what if it was like even like slightly older than that, and it was like the Vice City of the Watch Dogs
that'd
be
sure.
cool.
timeline.
Yeah.
Like here's this kind of 80s
early
The first like tech
payphones and fake lineman handsets.
Try to break into the ARPANET.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That could be cool.
But then what do you
Sifting
do
through
with like your
printouts.
powers and stuff?
You could figure it out.
Yeah, I
Figure
guess
something out.
you wouldn't necessarily.
You maybe make it a little comic booky, get a little outlandish with it, but that would be cool.
Yeah, I guess you could.
Yeah.
You used to be able to flash your high beams at traffic lights to get them to change. So
Like that mid 70s, like that nexus of like 60s counterculture and like the early days of the personal computer coming together.
Some guy in suspenders talking into a big cell phone that like explodes while he's talking into it.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of Uzis.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they even have characters in the Watch Dogs fiction that are like crusty hippie types in the modern era.
Captain Crunch types.
Yeah, that you could potentially slot into something like that.
That would be cool.
Sneakers wasn't 80s. Sneakers was more kind of 90s-ish sort of deal, or maybe late. Yeah.
Stephen in New Orleans writes in about sandwiches.
Finally.
Whole, cut horizontally, cut vertically, or cut diagonally.
Diagonally if I'm feeling fancy.
Diagonally if it's with soup.
Okay, yeah.
For
Good
dipping
for
purposes?
dipping, yeah.
Okay.
Depends on the bread.
Who the hell cuts them like horizontally?
Yeah, that's
or
insanity.
vertically?
That's insanity.
Just go diagonal
I'll
at that
cut
point.
vertical once
What
in a
does
while.
vertical mean?
Like bread facing upwards, straight down the middle.
But never horizontal.
Horizontal is insane, but at least
that's
vertically, at least
nuts,
you get
I
a
guess.
symmetrical cut.
Yeah, true.
I still can't picture it.
Well, bread isn't perfectly square. It's a loaf. It's got a top.
Got that little.
Yeah.
It's got a
the little-
bottom. It's
So
got
you
sides.
just slice it down the middle?
No.
Yeah, that'd be.
Yeah.
You make your sandwich and you go top to bottom.
Yeah.
Or you go
wrong
across.
with that?
which-
Yeah, that's what I usually
I guess
slice
that's
that way.
okay, but
Or diagonal
At
is
that
good.
point, like, why not just go diagonally?
Because it would take up more space if you're trying to save space in a lunchbox, but you still want to slice a sandwich.
And it depends how you prepped it. Like I do a line of pickles and I want to make sure I go down halfway so I get that pickle. I know where my pickles are located.
Okay. Well, yeah, plan for that with the diagonal cut.
Or you know
Diagonal
what?
cut just tastes better.
Sometimes I don't cut it at all.
That shit's.
Most of the time, I don't cut sliced bread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just want a whole sandwich.
If I'm going to a deli and getting a sandwich, I usually want the thing cut, but that's because it's large enough that you kind of need it.
Jack from Nottingham in the UK. Jeff and Brad have mentioned a fair bit in the past that during the GameSpot days, basically every game got a review, even obscure film tie-ins and titles obviously for small children. Who came up with the idea to spend all that time and money on reviewing games aimed at audiences who largely don't care about reviews? Did GameSpot get good traffic every time they posted another Dora the Explorer review?
I mean, no, it was really about providing a service.
Yeah.
It
was an ethos.
Games, yeah,
right?
Yeah,
It's just we're your one-stop shop.
Yeah, for everything. And GameSpot was and is still again to this day the leading most trafficked place for this sort of stuff. They've changed their output quite a bit since those days, but I think the idea for us was always like, hey, there's going to come a time where someone's going to go like, I need to buy a game as a gift for a youth, for a nephew or something like that, for a niece. What the fuck do I get them? And we would be able to have something that would help them as well.
Yeah.
It was really just about that.
I mean, if you think reviews sound crazy, go back and I bet a lot of these videos are lost to time now, but we used to do like developer video interviews over stuff like that. Like, here's the latest Hello Kitty game out of this Namco event. We're going to get the producer to sit down.
I would do a Hello Kitty interview
and talk for 5 minutes about this Hello Kitty game.
Yeah. There was a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
You probably did a lot of very boilerplatey interviews.
Yeah.
With perfectly nice people that were on brand about.
They knew what to say about their game.
A Dora the Explorer game or something to that effect.
Totally.
For sure.
Let's see. Christopher from Andeboo. When Street Fighter 6 eventually gets made, do you think finally moving past Street Fighter 3 in the timeline and leaving old characters in the dust for story reasons is viable? The new cast in Street Fighter 3 and lack of old favorites didn't exactly help those games' sakes at all. Judging by the tepid reaction to almost every Street Fighter newcomer, as well as next-generation type characters like the Combat Kids, it doesn't seem like many in the audience are interested in replacing the characters they love with new successors. You can also see this in how popular Street Fighter 4 got just by emulating Street Fighter 2's roster exactly upon release, and how much hype Soul Calibur 6 is garnering just by putting all the old fan favorites back in the game.
Or if you look at Street Fighter 3, how that introduced a whole new cast of characters and some repeats or carryovers.
Wasn't the
I don't think
original?
that cast was just widely loved.
Wasn't it just Ryu and Chun-Li at launch of original Street Fighter 3? Wasn't it almost entirely new?
I thought it wasn't even Chun-Li, was it? I think
they were the two.
I thought they added.
I could have sworn it was Ryu the only one.
What about Ken?
Regardless,
Ken might have been. Was Ken in baseline original Street Fighter 3, or was he in Second Impact?
Let me see.
Yeah.
I think when you're sticking to like a series proper, there should be mainstays that are throughout. You take a look at a game like King of Fighters or something like that, and those like additional characters. You look at Kyo and Iori and stuff, and they're extremely popular and they're very well accepted because King of Fighters is this offshoot from Art of Fighting from Fatal Fury. So when I come to a Street Fighter game, I definitely want my Ryu. I definitely want Ken. I want those old characters. I want them iterated. I want them to be changed up a little bit.
They gave Ken new hair.
Yeah, sure, the banana hair.
But I mean,
but at the same time, like if all of the new characters that like the brand new characters that have been announced for 5 so far have been kind of underwhelming.
I think I just really don't like the Bison dolls and any of that stuff, any of that kind of Cammy storyline, that part of the lore or whatever.
I can take that.
I just think is pretty lame. Yeah. So when they started rolling out characters that kind of plugged into that aspect of it, I was like,
that started in 5 or in 4 with what's her name, the one with the like side blades, DeCapra.
Yeah.
But I mean, like even in Street Fighter 4, which sure. It didn't initially have everyone from Street Fighter 2. It got there eventually, but
well, the reason to split hairs, I was trying to think who wasn't in there at launch. But that one was definitely the closest to 2, right?
But then, so they also introduced, a fair amount of new characters, and you get some characters out there like Jury, and it's like, okay, we're gonna try. I feel like an ideal Street Fighter game is like 60-40, 60% people and love, and then 40% like here's some new wacky characters that either fit an archetype of an old character that we're not
Right.
going to put in, like here's a Remy to a Guile,
Mm-hmm.
or are just completely new designs.
Yeah, I would put that ratio a little bit higher, but that's just me.
I think with something as long running as Street Fighter, I think you would probably put it a little bit higher than that, because you have people that have it's like I've been playing Guile for like Remy's not a substitute
Right.
in that case. You know, it's like I've been playing as Guile since 1992, and god damn it, fuck this game.
He can only throw one Sonic Boom. God
Yeah,
damn it!
that's all he can do, and he doesn't do it with one arm like Charlie. Fuck that.
Kicking booms now.
Bring back a con.
Yeah.
Actually, I think the new characters that they did for
In
4, they were not all winners, but I, on the whole, liked them a lot better than a lot of the new stuff they've rolled out for 5.
I agree.
Yeah, totally. But I think it's because of the ratio.
Yeah.
It made it easier to accept those.
Totally. Yes.
those
And they were
characters.
interesting characters, but
Yeah. Whereas if it's like a complete roster change, for the most part, like 3 was, it's.
I think they've kind
there's
of
some debuckling.
I think they've kind of fucked around the story so much here in terms of like games set before the events of Street Fighter 3 that they should just wipe it all.
Yeah. The Street Fighter.
Yeah, just put out a game called Street Fighter at this point and start throwing years on it or something.
Okay.
Like if they really just want to be in a fucking esport and chase that down.
And do you mean as part of that, give up on the whole ridiculous timeline where
Totally.
4 comes before 3
Yep.
and all that nonsense?
Well, and we're forgetting actually 3 is not the last one. It's what was the name of that game? Street Fighter or whatever with Ken.
2010.
Yeah,
The
Look,
final
that
fight.
is technically
That game that was not Ken in the Japanese version of that game.
That wasn't Ken.
That was just like it's not Guns N' Roses names for Mega Man.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I honestly I feel at this point that stuff is so silly.
come up with
And
like
it's not like fun in a Fast and Furious way when they were like winking and nodding and having a good time with it. Like this just seems like it's more dumb.
wipe the slate, keep it about a world fighting tournament.
Yeah.
Keep the characters like have their Ryu's there so he can fight strong opponents. Ken's there so he can fight for his family.
like you have your archetypes and your basic
And just tell a
character
story.
concepts and
Tell a better story.
Tell a better story.
Yeah, tell a better story.
tell a story.
Yeah.
let's start with that.
Yeah. We don't need the Street Fighters saving the world or anything like that. Oh,
But I
God.
think a lot of the but I think a lot of the stuff they've done with what Shadowloo is now compared to what
Pretty
it
ridiculous.
started out as, and like Bison's motivations for all the stuff.
That
and
stuff all
like
sucks.
I said, all that Bison's also like the reason the reason Street Fighter happens.
Wait, what is it?
sucks.
What's the elevator pitch?
What I've fucking lost the plot at this point.
Bison,
but what is it?
Psycho Power or clones? He needs different
Psycho Power
bodies.
needs different
Yeah.
bodies, builds a lot of clones.
That's what Seth was supposed to be.
And
Street Fighter
Ed
4 was
and
It's like
Falk.
It's like some Star Wars
And the
expanded
Capra.
universe shit.
Yeah, and like all the weird people around Bison.
The only stuff that I do like that they keep iterating on is like the Ryu origin, the Ryu, Akuma, Goken stuff.
Right.
That stuff's very like. I mean, it's traditional. It's
Totally,
kind of
and
played
I
out
think
or
that
whatever,
that's
but-
something you could probably just keep whole cloth. But I would probably ditch the rest of it. Not ditch Bison per se.
Yeah.
But actually,
I
you know
want
what?
to keep them as a fun-loving crime
You
group.
know what I would do at this point, though, if we're really talking about rebooting Street Fighter,
Mhm.
is I would name him Vega and get it over with.
Sure.
Name him Dictator.
Sure. Yeah. Fucking sure.
Just trying to turn it into Dota. Everybody's just named after their job.
Well,
Yeah.
that's kind of where people ended up on because the Japanese casters were calling him Vega, the English casters were calling him Bison, so they're like, okay, let's just call him Dictator, Boxer, Claw, and
Claw.
Sagat. They could just call
Sagat.
Sagat. Yeah.
He was fine.
Pretty good.
I think a Street Fighter reboot could be fucking really neat.
Good.
Because if you think about it, there's like stuff. It lets them maybe even reimagine some of the characters along the way, like
do it
in
Mortal
terms
Kombat.
of moves and stuff. Yeah, I,
We
mean,
did
I was
with,
thinking about
like-
Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
9 and like some of the changes they were able to make to their overall story by virtue of them just rebooting it.
yeah,
That thing was also just such an amazing piece of fan service
yeah.
because it gave a real backstory to what were just really basic arcade games. The arcade
Totally.
games had no story.
They had like one page per
Right.
like, for a kid, but there was no like overall. You had to know because you read in a magazine somewhere like, look, Mortal Kombat 2 says that Liu Kang won the tournament.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah,
Right.
And
Like, it was some really amazing fan service to see
Right.
these like interactions between the characters in between the fights.
yeah, that was really rad.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, if you could reimagine the characters, then you can go like, oh well, I guess we want Ken to still have a fireball, but we can actually change the properties of a lot of this stuff now and differentiate the characters even further because it's kind of not.
And like, tell
It
me
is
more
and
about
it isn't. It's
tell
tied
me more
and it's
about
not
Ken
tied.
and Ryu's relationship. Like, we know they're friendly rivals or whatever,
really
but like,
close.
Well, in Street Fighter 2V, they go to a bar even though they're underage, and because Ryu comes to America to visit Ken, and they get in some big fights, and then
Guile,
with the
yeah.
military guys, and then Guile shows up, and then they go to the military base, and they have to fucking fight Guile. It's the whole thing. Don't retell that story. That story's already been told.
the one good piece of
I want them
Street Fighter
to
fiction.
invoke the comics a little bit more because that universe there's overlap, right? So like Darkstalkers are in there.
Oh,
every
yeah,
now and
yeah.
again. So this goes back to the Capcom versus Capcom thing. Like
Frank
I want
West, what are you
that,
doing
I
here?
want that King of Fighters, Capcom.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Maybe that's the way to get there. But if you do that, if you're doing a best of, then you kind of don't want to change the characters because you're like, oh, Ken, we
Yeah,
brought him
true.
in. It's still Ken.
Mm-hmm.
What Capcom character who's never been in a fighting game do you want to see in Capcom versus Capcom?
Oh shit, that hasn't been in something.
Ashura from Ashura's Wrath is mine.
Okay, yeah.
Ooh,
Totally.
God. Wait,
He was even in that DLC
they
that
did publish that, didn't they?
They published it. Yeah.
I guess that counts.
I'm counting it.
Yeah.
I don't know that they published that in Japan, but sure, I guess that.
They even
I'll allow
they
it.
had that DLC where he fought Ryu and then
Yeah.
Akuma
Oh yeah,
on
yeah,
the moon.
sure,
Yeah,
sure, sure.
yeah.
Yes, yes, that is the right answer.
All right, we got to play through that again too. Holy shit.
I started to say Bionic Commando, but I'm sure he's been
He
in
has, yeah.
some
Yep.
Marvel game.
Yeah. But what if he was in a good fighting game?
How about the dude or the character from Section Z? Flying robot suit man?
Let's see. Yeah. The dude from Trojan.
Yes.
The
Okay.
car from Speed Rumbler.
Okay. Man, I haven't
It'd be
thought-
like that Matrix fighting game.
Yeah.
Huh.
Has Phoenix Wright been in
If
one?
you just Google the
Yeah.
word Trojan, you
Oh,
get something very different from the game.
Huh.
Mm.
Which
haven't-
path?
I haven't played Trojan in a long time.
Oh,
That game's
God.
awesome.
Yeah.
The characters in Alien versus Predator.
Alien and Predator.
No.
No, I know that.
The lady and the big dude. Forgot their name.
The lady and
Yeah,
the big
lady
dude.
and the
Yep.
big dude.
That was that famous Disney movie. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
2P
Okay,
from Final Fight.
sure.
Bread.
Tofu.
Yeah.
Just make a fighting game out of the cast of Final Fight.
Right.
I would be okay with that.
But none of the
Didn't they?
playable
Final
characters.
Fantasy Streetwise.
Yeah, there's Final Fight Revenge, which is
Revenge.
we should.
Which one's Streetwise?
Wait, is that a fighting game?
Yeah, Final Fight Revenge is a Saturn fighting game.
What?
This one's.
Wait, it doesn't-
Streetwise
Is
is
it
like
better or worse than-
Streetwise is the story-based game where Cody is all fucking. It's like the gritty reboot.
Yeah.
and that's where the Cody going to jail stuff.
That's what
comes
I
from.
played. That's
That's my Final
that
Fight.
is my final fight.
Does that Saturn game use sprites from?
No, it's
Okay.
polygonal.
Okay.
Is it better or worse than Double Dragon 5?
We should find out.
Okay.
We should find
We
out.
should find out.
Oof.
Perhaps there's a way to come to that conclusion.
Yeah. I think I have a preliminary answer in my head, but it's been a long time since I
We have
played
to see how the science
Final
checks out.
Fight.
Mike,
Revenge.
Michael from Omaha. With the recent hullabaloo coming out of Microsoft concerning new accessories at Gamescom, it's safe to assume that the long-rumored Elite Controller version 2 is on the way. I wonder, though, if the proximity of this controller's release and the next Xbox generation point to a cross-gen controller. I don't recall Sony or Microsoft ever doing something like that. Obviously, the GameCube controller can be used on just about every Nintendo device. But do you think this is something that Microsoft would possibly allow? What are your thoughts?
PS1 and PS2.
Mhm.
That's right. They did plug in, didn't
Yeah.
they?
You could do that.
Also, like, kind of weird half-assed PS4 to PS3 compatibility. You can,
Right.
like, plug in a DualShock 4 and it kind of works.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But there's,
yeah.
like, I think a couple buttons that don't.
Yeah. The Wii had like a GameCube
Yeah.
ports up on top.
Yeah, that one was definitely official.
Yeah.
Officially official.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, if you figure
Yeah, if you ask.
the base model Xbox One controllers they're selling now have Bluetooth built in.
Yeah.
So they're a little more universal than they once were.
Also, if they maintain the price point on that thing, like,
Right.
If you sell somebody a brand new $150 controller like a year before the next platform comes out, it would be nice.
Yes.
Carry that over?
That's and there's changes they can make. I mean, I guess, but I would have said this before the last generation. Is like, what else are they going to do? The 360 controllers got it. They did it. But then rumble triggers.
Yeah, that's kind of it, right?
Yeah, that's it. I'd prefer the Xbox One controller form factor and
I do too
over the
now.
360. But
yeah.
So I don't know. I think if they do a new Elite controller, yes, it should work. The current controller should work with the next system.
It would be nice.
That would be a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
At the same time, they make so much money on accessories that I don't know.
Yeah, but
I don't know if I'd hold my breath.
This presumably is going to cost what in the $100 to $200 range. That's what
The
the
Elite
first
controllers,
one.
like
Yeah.
150 or
150.
something, right? Yeah.
So you'd hope that
Yeah,
if
at
you're
that
dropping
point.
that much money, this is guaranteed that
Right.
it's going to last. Especially since preliminary talk of the next console has started popping up more here and there.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's-
I feel like the rumors around 2020 are getting more substantial.
Totally. And was that Thoreau?
Yeah,
Thoreau-
that Brad Sams guy.
Yeah, they had that thing this week
Yeah.
that was, which I think is like common sense.
Yeah. It was exactly what we've talked about here, which is
Yeah.
like, there will be a real Xbox One X style, big, powerful local console, and then a cheap streaming box that will also stream the same games
Yeah.
or similar.
If that's or that's an option for
Yeah.
them, this next time around, if they want to get into our streaming future, while also still putting hardware in people's homes.
And he was saying 2020 for that stuff.
Yeah, that seems likely at this point. I would say.
Crazy to think that's like 2.5 years away.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there was another. I don't know. God, I can't remember where it came from, but there was some conjecture that maybe like the way they would kind of lessen some of the impact around the streaming stuff was to put some amount of compute power in the low end box to handle things like collision or maybe like stuff that would maybe help it feel snappy even though you're playing it over a stream.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how you do that if you're playing a video window because then you have to render it both play anyway.
Yeah. I don't know a lot about it, but I've read that like Microsoft on their cloud side is working on a bunch of advanced like latency reducing tech and stuff as well.
Yeah,
Sounds like they're across the company. They're coming up with crazy ideas for stuff.
For the halfway point that we all are in right now in terms of just internet speeds and internet cost and internet latency and all this other stuff, that two-pronged approach seems obvious.
Yeah.
If they even make a lower end one at all. Maybe they don't launch with that, and that's when they want to hit their mainstream price point and all the other stuff. Then, if they're confident enough about their streaming service, by 2023 or something like that, then maybe they do it then.
Sure.
Who knows?
Let's see. Chris in Howell, Michigan. After spending a bored weekend listening to old Game of the Year bombcasts, it occurred to me
Sorry, it was so
to
boring.
ask.
Yeah, jeez, I
seriously.
guess.
Oh, my gosh.
Shut it down.
It occurred to me to ask, is PUBG the new Threes? Due to the fact that it was a paid version of a game that seems to be more accepted by the hardcore crowd, then it seemingly gets overtaken by a free counterpart, in this case 2048, which then hits the critical masses and becomes incredibly popular, as Fortnite has. Can you think of any other games that have done this same thing?
It's a pretty good comparison.
Sure, yeah. In that highly specific way, yeah, totally. I don't know. I guess like history is probably littered with games that got beaten by their own clones. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess could you say that about League in a way?
Yeah, I mean they're both free.
Yeah, that's
and-
true. Well, in the sense the League was the first one to monetize.
Yeah,
Dota 2.
and
came
Dota
out.
2 wasn't out when League.
But like League launched in a box for money, didn't it?
I can't remember. It did, but I
Yeah.
can't remember if you could also. I don't remember if that was the only way to get it or if that was just
I feel
one
like they
way.
went through a business change.
I think you might be
and,
right,
and made
actually.
it free
I
later.
think you might be right. I'm not sure.
Don't remember.
I had a launch copy of that game that I opened like a year or two ago, and like none of the codes still worked.
Oh wow.
Which is a real bummer. I always felt bad for Threes when all that stuff went down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Threes.
Threes is
yeah.
an excellent, very well crafted game.
Yeah, the visual charm of Threes
Yeah.
goes a
There's
long way.
something happening and similar I've seen recently with There's like I get Instagram ads for it all the time. There's
Yep.
like a whole
like a
whole
kind of
something.
a bootleg Donut County.
Oh yeah, I saw the developer of Donut County out there, kind of not super thrilled about that.
Yeah, especially because like the appealing part of Donut County from me playing at E3 was like the writing, the writing, honestly, and the gameplay was fun too. But then now this is just like, come be a big hole. It's not as nearly as appealing.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been doing that for years.
I think it was the company in question that put this clone out. Like, that's their whole business model, is clone popular games as fast as they can and get them out there in a way that makes them catch on. And like they had just taken a bunch of investment capital, because of course they did.
Sure.
Like, that's just how they make money, which is really depressing.
Roblox and Minecraft.
Oh yeah, or Infiniminer in Minecraft. Yeah, for sure. You definitely see a lot of people talking about Minecraft in that context. Sure.
Tried out a game called Boundless that's coming out of early access pretty soon. That's kind of a Minecrafty sort of thing. Like, people are still out there at it.
Yeah.
You know? Like, if there are still people out there making and Dig or Die, like a Terraria-esque game. Like, people are still out there making variants of that. Like, the Battle Royale thing can't end soon, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna always think they've got their spin on it. That's gonna be that we're gonna out Minecraft.
People are still bringing together an ensemble cast of indie game characters
And making a
every week.
questionable platform fighter. And with the number of indie games being released every week, there's always new characters to license.
I found another one just yesterday. Now there's at least two platform fighters. I'll send you a link.
I found a code for a game on my desk that seems to be an indie. I don't know that it licenses stuff from other games, but it sounds a lot like a platform fighter.
Send it my way, baby.
Yeah, I got a piece of paper that I will.
My new show, Wave Dash Wednesdays.
Ugh.
No.
Huh.
Ugh.
I'm gonna make you guys watch me play.
Oh God.
And you can't talk because it'll ruin my concentration.
All right. Email from Corey. Recently, you guys were talking about Mario Party and how cool it would be if they made a Wario Party.
Okay. I was gonna say I like Mario Party. I would never call it cool.
Have you guys played WarioWare for the GameCube? It was pretty much that, and still one of my best WarioWare experiences other than the GBA games. It even let you connect GBAs to use as controllers if you were short a GameCube controller.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite mode was the one where you had to balance on turtles between microgames. I'm super excited for a new WarioWare and hopeful for one tailored to the Switch experience, but I'll always have this one to go back to.
I did play it. I couldn't tell you too much about it.
Yeah, I don't remember
these days.
It was
but
just
yeah.
a collection of mini games.
It was some. I think the thing is that it was a lot of the mini games that had appeared on GBA already, kind of recontextualized into a split screen 4-player format.
Right.
And so
that's right.
that was a little less appealing to me. But I'm sure that was fun in its own way.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that WarioWare game is coming out pretty soon. That's why I dusted off my 3DS. Got in the eShop.
I'm waiting for the Switch version.
Played a little Animal Crossing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's too bad that's not coming.
I got a Bullet
Switch.
Bill launcher in my house now. It's pretty fucking dangerous.
Sounds dangerous.
Yeah, you walk up to it, you hit A, it fucking shoots a bullet fucking bill.
Why would you want that in your home?
Looks pretty rad.
How's the repair costs of fixing all the holes in your wall going?
As Tom Nook's handling it, I'm sure it'll be fine.
He'll just hand you the bill.
Wait a minute.
Oh.
He's the one who sold me the Bullet Bill launcher to begin with. This fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle.
William from
I
the
thought
UK?
this was going to be ethical consumption, but I was wrong.
There is no
there is
ethical
none.
consumption under the animal.
Under Tom Nook. William from the UK. Rec Room just pushed an update that allows you to play the game without the use of a VR headset.
Finally.
It's currently only available to level 30 players in good standing, but they are looking to roll it out for all members soon. Do you think this will make for a better experience or a cheapened one? I think it's nice for them to add an option, but a lot of the fun in Rec Room is VR hijinks.
Yeah.
Not sure how fun it will be without that aspect. Also, are there any other VR exclusive games you think would benefit from this trend?
All of
This
them,
is
apparently.
a
Yeah,
weird
like-
trend now.
Yeah, a lot of games.
Like
seem to be
Valkyrie
doing
did
this.
it not that long
Did it?
ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. there it seems like there is some. It is happening.
Mm-hmm.
The number of games that have been like, we launched as a VR game, and what if you could play it without VR?
It's good. What turns out a good way to broaden your player base is to not require a piece of hardware that costs several $100s.
Yeah. It's a bummer. But
it always feels a little bit to me like throwing in the towel. Not that I blame anybody who does it.
I mean, the players. We'll see. I was gonna say the players playing in VR would probably have an advantage in some of the games of Rec Room, maybe not all of them, because mouse and keyboard for shooting things like that paintball game might be a little hard if you're playing against people on a mouse.
Sure.
But you would have the ability to take cover a little more efficiently and shoot over cover in a different way that you wouldn't if you're using a mouse and keyboard.
Check it out and see how.
Assuming they let everyone play in all of those modes and it's not just lobby stuff on a screen or something. I guess I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
No fun.
Are you guys level 30 and in good standing?
Oh yeah.
Neither. No.
Is that game
not.
free?
Yeah,
it
is.
Yeah.
How?
Did they ever monetize it?
Yeah.
I don't know that they did.
Huh.
They added a bunch of cosmetics and stuff, but you still just kind of unlock those by leveling up. And I don't know if they ever added a way to get that stuff. I know they took some funding at some point.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Gonna find out this game was made with dark money.
Yeah, well, I think at some point, like they launched this thing. They were, an incredibly small team, put the thing out there, and it took off. And I think that led to someone going like,
funding,
"Hey, what if we gave you a bunch of money to figure this shit out?" I don't know. I don't know who that was or what that is, but yeah, it's whatever. Like you want more people to play your game. It's the same thing that you see Microsoft and everyone else talking about when they talk about this streaming game thing of just like lowest common denominator. What's the easiest way for us to get this thing out to as many people as possible so they can play it on their fucking phones and their TVs and all this other stuff. Like VR is, some of these games are going to trend in that direction as well, depending on what developers need. If they're like, hey, 9 people play this game, so even our VR customers are now having a bad experience because no one is playing this game.
Yeah,
sure. Like making it more widely accessible, which I'm not saying that's where Rec Room was at. I actually don't know what the player base there has been like. I assume it's still fine because it's free and it's good. But if this can grow it, who knows? Maybe they sell some VR headsets along the way.
Yep.
Indeed. Andy from Ohio wrote 2 emails in the same day about kind of the same thing.
It's against the rules.
So I'm just going to read them both back to back because one kind of leads into the other.
It's against the rules.
Yeah, I know. Have to make an exception here. First email. What if, and also this would be easier to answer if Vinny was also here, but we'll read it anyway.
I'll call him.
What, if any, memories do you guys have of making the very first Giant Bomb video thing? Was it mostly improvised or was it scripted? What was the thought process behind this stunning achievement in video making? Also, did it lead directly or did it directly inspire the 2 Human video thing? And then he sent his second email, which is about the 2 Human video thing. Basically, the second email is the same question about the 2 Human video.
Yeah.
What was the process for, how did that go down? What was the process for creating and executing it?
Didn't we just talk about this?
Yeah,
exactly?
we talked about some of this on UPF. At least with the 2
That's
Human
right. Yeah,
video. But the it's a website video. We needed a video to explain what the website was.
I feel like I remember just sitting at my desk doing other stuff while you guys were just standing on the green screen babbling about nonsense.
Yeah, totally. Like that was not scripted.
Yeah.
I think we just turned on the cameras and shot the stuff, and then Vinny cut it.
I think it was as ad-libbed as it could be.
Yeah.
From what I remember.
Yes.
Like LIMS system always seems like such a weird thing to be in there, but we had just been talking about the LIMS system page.
Because there was a page for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think that had been discussed recently in the office.
Yeah.
So that got mentioned.
Right. That's exactly what it was. It was like we had been talking about some of the more esoteric pages for the wiki that had already kind of popped up. And I don't know. We just turned it on and made it happen.
Yeah.
The 2 Human thing we did talk about on UPF. That was...
I remember you guys just rolling into the office.
I remember having that idea in the morning, I think, on the way in, looking at Twitter.
Because all that beef, all these game reviewers were beefing on Twitter about 2 Human review scores.
Yeah, and it was real dumb.
Yeah.
But also, it was like this weird, like Twitter had not been around that long at that point, and yeah, you didn't really see people from publications really like feuding with each other about different reviews and saying like I thought this game was way better than that. That guy, fuck that guy. That was usually something you turned to the person at the next cubicle and said, hey, the person at this other publication that reviewed that game sucks shit. This review is fucking trash. I can't believe anyone would run this.
That doesn't happen.
But then
really.
that kind of no, definitely not. And so I don't know. Some of that spilled onto Twitter.
Yeah.
And also because it was too human, and because of everything Dennis Dyack had done in the run up to the release of that game, like there was a spotlight on it. It did not deserve.
There was an atmosphere of hostility.
I think the embargo changed very late, and so some people were like, "Oh, this Giancarlo guy broke the embargo on top of everything. This fucking new guy.
That new guy.
Who the fuck is this?" So I think there was just like a clusterfuck of weird shit around reviews of that game hitting, and so you had people kind of sniping at each other and being very snippy on Twitter about the other reviews for this game, which didn't deserve that much attention at all. Yeah. Too Human was not a very good game.
You take that back.
Fuck you.
Hey man, I could play as a Valkyrie, I think.
No, you can't.
I only played one level.
The Valkyrie comes and gets you when you die.
Okay.
Because that's what Valkyries do. Too Human was not a terrible game.
I need to play through that again.
Yeah, it was.
I said that too, and then I brought in a copy and we streamed some of it, and I think it was like, okay,
Shit. I remember it being tolerable.
Yes, totally. Like I finished that game and went,
Yeah.
Like you go into those weird bonus areas or whatever they are, where it's just like, I don't know, there's a bunch of trees here, and I found some bonus shit. Like, but it wasn't good enough to warrant the fights I had to do to get here.
Mm-hmm. There's loot, but not great loot. Nope.
Yeah. And I remember getting in with that stuff having had happened, and I remember saying, "Here's a video we could like something along the lines of, here's a video we could make. This beef thing is happening. We could do this." But we have to do it and run it today, or it will be kind of pointless. And so we ended up, I think we probably had stuff planned that day, but we ended up tossing all of it and doing that instead.
Yes.
And
I would love to do more stuff.
It was just like an afternoon, basically, I think.
Yeah. I think it was like most of the day.
I remember being very glad I was wearing that T-shirt on my face because I was just like dying laughing throughout the entire video.
Yeah. And
it was a really good way to hide that.
And yeah, that was a period of time where I was eating Choco Tacos on a more regular basis than I had been, because there was that convenience store around the corner that sold them. Which was very exciting for me, a Choco Taco aficionado.
Right.
The moment for me though was I remember like coming out of that, shooting that stuff, going like, oh, okay, I don't know what the fuck that was, and then like an hour or two later, we gather around Vinny's computer and look at what he had done with it.
Yeah.
Like he spun it into gold in a way that was like, oh, wow.
Yeah. The editing like that. I want to say that was probably one take. That could have been two. But I seem to remember just going, turn on the camera, let's do it.
I think pretty much everything that got shot got used, if I'm not mistaken. But,
wow.
And also, I'm sure he probably still has the raw footage on a hard drive somewhere.
Probably. It's here. Probably here somewhere.
It's probably in this building somewhere. But,
and I remember there being a big question at the end about the music. Because it's West Side Connection.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, there's language in here that, there's some lines we have not crossed as a website, as a business.
Yeah.
That is, language used on this music. Also, it's a West Side Connection. We don't own this.
Yeah. I think I want to say at some point we cut the volume down on the music, so
it's muffled. It's muffled and low in the background.
Added the party noise on top of it, hoping that people wouldn't notice.
Right. Well, I think I think it was less so that people would notice, and more just because it was better that way.
Yeah.
And so that video, we posted it. As I've said before, like everyone else was out of the office except for us, like all the engineers and business people running what would become Whiskey Media were out on sabbatical. Or they were out having an off-site week across the country. And so we had no one to bounce it off of. It was just the four of us in that basement, just going like, I don't know, man, fuck. We shot in the weird back crawl space. Yeah. That weird back area. Yeah. I don't know that we ever went into.
Yeah.
Like we may went in there like one or two more times.
We shot part of the iPhone commercial back there too.
You're right. And it went up and people seemed to receive it well.
Yeah.
And it was that thing of just like, okay, it was. I remember there being kind of a feeling of just like people going like, maybe I don't know what this website actually is.
Yeah.
If this is the sort of shit that they're doing.
Was it that same week? I feel like I remember hearing that like Mike or Shelby or somebody accidentally pulled that video up in a presentation
Yes.
to like investors or something. It's like, oh, here's what we're working on.
Yeah.
Here's the product, and like that happened to be the video they played.
I think that did happen. I remember hearing from Tatum. I remember like when we did hear from them, they were like, "Fuck yeah, man, shit!" Very excited about it.
Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah, that was silly.
Ryan from North Dakota. After bashing my head against the final boss in Hollow Knight for 3 hours, the idea of giving up and never playing that game again is feeling very appealing to me right now. The only other time I've given up on a game at the final section of gameplay was Ni no Kuni, where after dying a single time on the boss, I decided I'd rather never see the end than go another second over the 90-hour mark in that game. Wondering if there have been any games you guys have given up on inches before the finish line.
The first one I can think of is Bloodborne. Actually, yeah, I was at the very end of that and just like completely ducked.
That's right. I remember that. I
don't-
remember
yeah,
you
and
bailing on that.
Yeah, and
Thinking
it's
you
like
were almost done with it and going like, wait, but it's
I know it's like okay, I know what happens during the ending. I don't know that
Yeah.
I need to because I didn't enjoy playing Bloodborne as much as I played, or much as I enjoyed playing some of the Dark Souls stuff. And I think that was the main thing. It's like, okay, there's a little bit more. I know it's going to be challenging. I don't know if I want to go through that frustration.
a commitment.
Let me just look it up. And I
Rory
think
did the same
I was
thing.
fine with that.
Yeah, Rory did the same thing with that
But
game.
then he came
until,
back
until
with
he
a vengeance.
until he had that legendary moment on a UPF
That was pretty bad.
where he fired it up for the first time in months or a year and beat it on the first try.
I
Trying to think.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to think, man.
I-
I feel like I usually bail on a game.
Yes.
If I'm going to
Yeah.
bail on a game, I bail
It's
way
way
earlier.
before
Yeah,
the
if I
end.
get up to the last boss,
Yeah.
I'm just so
Like I'm committed at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
It's
did do that in the original Dead Space. It wasn't the last boss, but it was one of the last bosses. Is the one that was like a big wall kind of,
okay.
and you're in 0G maybe.
Yeah.
And I stopped playing for like 4 months, and then went back to it one day and got it on the second try, and then found out there was like maybe an hour left in that game, and so that felt bad.
my wife was ready to bail on Sudeki. She's been playing Sudeki. It's summertime, so Sudeki's being played in the house, and
Summer Sudeki.
there's an escort sequence in that game that, as I understand it, is fairly close to the end, but is a motherfucker in terms of like you're escorting a character who. So normally you have a party in that game, and in this sequence you're down to one character who has a gun, and so it's a first-person shooter style sequence in a game that was not rated.
Really?
Yeah, that
Oh, I
game
didn't know
game's
that.
like an action RPG kind of thing. It's a weird.
Yeah, I knew
it's
about the action RPG,
but
but
there's
not
there's a character that just has gun and it goes into first person. You pull the right trigger to shoot, but you still have to cast spells. And it does the thing where when you bring up the menu, the spell casting or inventory menu, everything still runs, but in slow motion. Like there's some stuff in Sudeki that like
That sounds
games
cool.
did later better, but
Sure.
like there's some stuff in Sudeki that like for the year it came out and stuff, you're like, games didn't do this then. It's crazy. Looking back on it now with the amount of Sudeki I have seen. So anyway, she was banging her head against that shit ass fucking escort sequence, and I ended up doing it. But it fucking sucked.
She's like,
It's-
here, do it.
It's a character that you're escorting from point A to point B. You can't tell the character where to go. She will heal herself a limited number of times, and also that number of times does not recharge at a save point or in between conflict or any of that other stuff. So you could get to the last sequence of it. She could be almost out of health and not be able to heal. You can't heal her. You can't interact with her in any way. And so, but she also runs around like an idiot and will run in front of attacks.
That sounds pretty suck ass.
And so it was like I needed to kill 3 waves of enemies without her getting hit more than like twice, and all of the healing and mana recovering items had already been used at an earlier checkpoint. And so it was this moment of just like, this might actually not be doable. I ended up pulling it out.
nice.
But man, fuck that shit. So she was ready to give up there. If I had not given it one last shot there at the end and actually gotten through it, I think she would have stopped there. But I think she went on to finish it.
And for you, Brad?
I can't think of
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm the same. Like if I'm going to give up on a game, it's going to
It's
be
usually pretty
pretty early, typically, or halfway through. I don't know.
Yeah.
I played most of Far Cry 4 actually, and then put it down for 8 months or something. Came back and finished it.
That counts. I guess.
Sean from Columbus, Ohio.
Hi, Sean.
I took a moment out of my day to look at the new games we love section of the iOS App Store and saw a game that looks distinctly like Ready to Rumble Boxing, and I remembered all the fun I had with that game on my PS1 and Dreamcast. Who owns the rights of that license, and is there a chance for Afro Thunder to ever dance his way around the ring again?
I assume
It was Midway.
Yeah, so I assume it would be Warner Brothers.
Warner
at this
Brothers.
point.
Okay. You could maybe see them doing something with Ready to Rumble. Maybe.
At least bring
Maybe
back
not.
the song. Such a good.
Yeah.
Let's get ready to rumble. Ready.
What's Michael Buffer doing now?
Oh yeah, he was in that game, wasn't he?
Yeah,
What's Michael Jackson doing now?
he was in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did a song with Drake. That's what he's doing.
Yeah. I guess he was only in round. He was in the second one.
Yeah.
Which was I'd feel like not as good as the first one
I don't remember if those
because
games
the
are,
second one had Michael Jackson in it.
I don't remember if those games are actually good or not, or if that's just kind of what there was to play on a Dreamcast
Yeah, they were kind of okay.
They were
at
right.
the time.
They were all yeah. They
They're
were
like
all
career
right.
modes were fun. You know, you'd have to you'd fight and then do some training stuff, which are like mini games, and then you can buy supplements and stuff and figure out your training regimen. There was some depth to it that I appreciated.
It's right up there in my mind from like a Dreamcast launch night of going to my friend's house who had a job instead of being broke in college like me and everybody else I knew who actually spent all his money on a Dreamcast and all the games, and like it was Soul Calibur.
Yep.
And then Sonic.
Yep. Was the
And then
the two
like
that I
Ready to
got.
Rumble was probably like
Yeah,
I feel like that was one of the ones
definitely.
that it was just like, holy
yeah.
shit, look at these fucking
Yeah,
games.
it would look. I mean, the graphics in that game for the time were pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they had that football game too. They put a lot of moves on that disc.
Yeah, sure. That was a fun launch.
Yeah.
A lot
Oh yeah,
a lot of
2K,
Mortal
was it
Kombat-
2K1 that
That's
and if-
2K.
it was just 2K.
Yeah.
That's fucking badass. That was a lot of fun to play.
And then Mortal Kombat Gold, I think, was a launch game. Also, I want to say Midway had 3. A Hydra Thunder maybe was a launch game.
Was it launch?
Yeah.
I want to say they
and
had like 3 games at launch.
I think you're right. Like I think Rayman 2 was a big one.
Yeah, Rayman 2 was a launch game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or real close to it.
I want to say it was one. Maybe it was not quite
Yeah.
a launch, but
Pen Tri-Isolon
Mhm.
was a launch game because no one would have bought it any other way. They never brought that Godzilla game over, the one that came out in Japan,
yeah.
because it was not great, but it was at least like a known thing.
And then they had that problem where they shipped all those non-functional discs.
You mean the
The
Midway
Dreamcast.
stuff specifically? or the-
Was it Midway? I just remember there being a bunch of games that got shipped at the Dreamcast launch that just straight up didn't work.
Oh, I don't know about
Like a
not
bunch of the discs
yeah.
didn't read.
Huh.
Kind of.
I don't remember. I just remember because it was on the Good Morning America thing of the Ready to Rumble.
By the way, he was
audio
on the
glitch.
Good Morning America.
Yeah. By the way,
Mm.
in case you didn't,
In case you didn't know.
but no, they had to reissue some of those Midway games because there was some mastering error.
Yeah.
With the launch discs
Yeah.
that they ran, but like Ready to Rumble had an audio glitch, so like they reissued them with like a fake sticker on them that says "Hot New,"
Huh.
and those were the ones that had that glitch corrected. Weird.
Man, that was such a big day for me. That was the first console that I had I pre-ordered. I had the money for
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that was. Didn't go to work that day. That was amazing.
It's a good lineup. $99.99.
Mhm.
All right, last email. Daniel from North Carolina. Let us draw once more from the well that is always wet. Shower talk. I have been told by my coworkers that because I shower in the morning rather than at night, I am a disgusting human.
What?
I think the fact that they leave their house with bedhead and smelling of sleep makes them the degenerates. Help settle the argument.
I don't wake up out of bed clean.
Yeah,
No
that's
I don't
shit.
care when I
sweat
shower.
So bad
Yeah.
at night.
Yeah. I've never been down with the nighttime shower. Get up
all
and go. In the
all of
morning
his
thing.
coworkers shower at night.
That's
I-
what I'm,
I
that's what
they
I'm
think
hearing.
he's disgusting.
I think
for-
I need a morning shower to
the
wake
fuck
up and get
ever.
moving.
Yeah.
Like if I don't take a shower
Oh,
in the
yeah.
morning,
Yeah.
and I just like get dressed, which on the weekends, like whatever.
Sure.
Sure.
If I just get up,
As
get
you
dressed,
do.
and go around, I feel filthy all day long.
Same here.
I feel like I never woke up. I feel like I'm still in pajamas, even
Yep.
if I'm out doing something.
I feel-
it just doesn't feel real.
day
I feel
does not
offensive.
start.
Yeah.
To me, there's very few things more refreshing, beautiful, and just self-actualizing than a midnight shower. There's something about just the
Yeah,
crisp, clean air at night. You know, I got a little window that I like to open up, and it's just, you know, it's dark. Leave the lights off. Take a nice dark shower.
The dark shower.
I've done that, sure.
It's
I'm always
really
worried that I'll
refreshing. It'll help
slip.
me sleep easier.
But I still take another one in the morning.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Dude, check it out. Check it out. Shower in the morning and at
What
night.
kind of temperature you like for a midnight shower like that? Like what kind of water
A
temp?
little warm.
Okay.
Just like, you know, not hot, not cold, but just like it's cool out, so you have the cool air and then the kind of warm water there. I like a night shower. I do feel less prepared to face the day than a morning shower, but in terms of just the singular shower experience, there's something about a morning shower that you don't always enjoy. And
it's like
it's
I
more of
need
like a
this
service,
because I
yes.
have to get going.
Yes.
And I take my showers, at least my morning showers, fucking scalding fucking hot.
Yeah.
Like skin, chest turning red type. Like it is barely tolerable. Because that gets the blood pumping. I get going.
Gets you going.
Gives you the anger you need
Yeah,
to get through the day.
exactly.
For that midnight shower, Ben, are you washing yourself or just taking it in?
Oh, it definitely starts with a period of taking it in. I also like to go in often with like a nice herbal tea.
Oh,
You
the
know?
shower tea.
Something like white, like a white tea, maybe a citrusy or a hibiscus kind of thing. Goes well with the cool air and the slightly warm water. So you feel warm outside and in. Yeah. I mean, I definitely have periods where I'll just let the water wash over me and wash the grime and sins away, but it's mostly about
You guys mostly
cleanliness.
stand in showers, right? Just you
What's
never
the
sit down.
Only if I've got some shit to work out.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Like, oh god.
I sit down every once in a
That's a-
while.
that's a rough-
Just have the water just come down
Really?
my head. If I
don't
have
have
like a
the-
headache, that helps.
My shower doesn't have like a bench or seat
I would-
anywhere in it,
Sit right in there.
but
I
sitting
should
on the
try-
floor.
I should try that.
I've
I bring
passed
in
out
my
in the
own.
shower before, that's for sure.
That's
Well, yeah.
a step too far.
Yeah, I definitely. Yeah, there's a reflective period when you first step into the shower of just like, what the fuck do I even have to do today? Who the fuck am I?
Yeah.
Let me get angry about this thing that happened 20 years ago for no good reason. That guy that wrote that review was fucking wrong. Anyway, yeah, no, I definitely have to have there's some amount of like, I just need to stand here and collect myself and then wash myself and then go.
Do you guys have a favorite shower song?
I don't listen to music in the
sing
shower.
or listen to.
Either.
No.
I mean, I
don't do either.
I may have mentioned it before, but my friends in college had the Bob shower, which was that you started Bombs Over Baghdad when you got in the shower and you had to be out before it was over.
It's a good one.
I feel like that song is long enough to get it in.
Yeah.
You could do it.
Barely.
Yeah.
And it's got the tempo that really makes you
Oh, sure.
fucking move.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shower in the morning.
Yeah.
That's my position. All right. My other position is that the emails are over.
All right.
Bombcast@giantbomb.com.
Nice work.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Congratulations to us
Congratulations.
Yeah.
for completing another podcast.
I
did it.
Just in time. I'm sorry.
I feel like if I'm taking a night shower, it's because I need one. Something
Yeah.
happened. Something
Yeah.
happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that might be good or it might be bad. But
usually
something
bad. Yep.
happened.
The most critical night shower I have ever taken is in the middle of Extra Life.
Oh,
About
yeah.
2 in the morning because A, you're about to fall asleep, and B, you just feel grimy as hell after sitting in front of the computer for like 18 hours. So
Yup.
you just go stand under cold water for 5 minutes.
Yes.
That really helps you get through
I'm going to try that next time,
the roughest hours of that thing.
I'm sure.
Have you guys ever used the showers here?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I had to, like the first year I lived here, because our landlord decided to renovate our bathroom without telling us until we came home one day and found people in the bathroom tearing the shower apart. And they were like, oh, by the way, we're gutting the shower. And I was like, well, cool.
What am I going to do?
And then I quickly found out that this office building has showers in it.
I'm thinking of joining a nearby gym, and I might have to use the showers here, but it's so weird. It's such a weird idea to shower at work.
Here's the
Yeah,
best thing about them, and this was true when we were on 3, and also now, is that they are not on the floors that we work on.
That's true.
They're on the even-numbered floors, so you're not going to see a lot of people that you know
All right.
on a regular
That
basis.
makes me quite. I'll see the people that come for the bagels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
They come for our bagels. You come for their shower.
Yeah.
That's a fair trade. All right. Well, we're gonna end this podcast just in time for you guys to do another one.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
After show
After show.
coming up.
Stick around if you're live, or if you're not, find it on the relevant feed.
That's what we call it.
Yeah.
The relevant.
The
feed.
relevant feed.
With Jeff and Ben.
That's
Yeah.
where the after show lives. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Today's show is brought to you in part by Starbucks Double Shot. That's right, Starbucks Double Shot starts with bold Starbucks coffee, and it's blended with milk for a smooth, creamy, delicious flavor, and it's enhanced with ginseng, guarana, and B vitamins. You're sharper when you've got more energy. Get sharp. Let's live, right? Starbucks Double Shot, it's energy to do the things you actually do. Find it in your local convenience store.